2011 w istnieniu żużlowej reprezentacji Rosji można określić za przełomowy z punktu widzenia ostatnich 4 lat jej występów na arenie międzynarodowej. Rozstawieni w półfinale w brytyjskim King's Lynn z powodu problemów wizowych i finansowych Rosjanie pojawili się w mocno okrojonym składzie i ku zaskoczeniu wielu obserwatorów nie tylko okazali się trudnym rywalem dla wszystkich, ale również wyeliminowali w walce o baraż jadącą w pełnym składzie reprezentację Czech.
Kończy się ten wyścig. Pierwszy poważny, drugi Kenneth.
Baraż w Gorzowie Wielkopolskim to już zupełnie inna historia. Ze składu jadącego w półfinale zostali tylko Renat Gafurow i kapitan Roman Poważny, zaś do drużyny dołączyli Grigorij Łaguta, Denis Gizatulin i Emil Sajfudinow.
Na razie u mnie wszystko idzie dobrze. Trochę się teraz zmienili na teraz bieg i myślę, że będzie jeszcze lepiej.
W walce o finał, w której według bukmacherów byli uznawani za faworyta, zgodnie z przewidywaniami Sajfudinow i Łaguta stanęli na wysokości zadania, choć ten drugi nie uniknął kilku kosztownych wpadek. Pomimo wielu wysiłków Australijczycy i Szwedzi okazali się zbyt mocni dla Rosjan, którym zabrakło punktów przede wszystkim Gizatulina i Gafurowa. W 2012 roku, po zmniejszeniu składów reprezentacji do 4 zawodników, Rosjanie odnieśli pierwszy poważny sukces. Do finału 2012 awansowali po zaskakującej wygranej podczas półfinału w Bydgoszczy. W tamtym turnieju ekipa zbornej za swoimi plecami zostawiła osłabioną kontuzjami reprezentację Polski, Danii i Stanów Zjednoczonych.
Jankes nie wypuści tego z rąk. Wyścig dodatkowy. Hancock. Nie ma wyścigu dodatkowego. A więc Rosjanie wygrali, proszę państwa.
Emil Sajfudinow, bracia Łagutowie i kapitan weteran Roman Poważny nie ukrywali, że apetyt rośnie w miarę jedzenia. Zwłaszcza, że popularny Ropa chciał swoją reprezentacyjną karierę zakończyć z przytupem.
No, może być, że to mój ostatni rok w drużynówce i chcę spróbować wywalczyć jakiś medal, przynajmniej brązowy.
Po słabszym początku i szukaniu ustawień na torze w szwedzkiej Molili Rosjanie obudzili się we właściwym momencie. Najpierw jadący jako joker Emil Sajfudinow, zaś po chwili wygrywający bieg Grigorij Łaguta.
Grigorij Łaguta na czele, a więc kwestia brązowego medalu za chwilę okaże się rozstrzygnięta. Grigorij Łaguta za 3.
Zapewnili Rosjanom brązowy medal, kończący w tym samym okres 16 lat medalowej posuchy. Najważniejszy był jednak powrót do strefy medalowej, z której Rosjanie szybko wyskoczyli po półfinale w 2013 roku w Częstochowie. W półfinale brązowi medaliści sprzed roku wystawili kadrę złożoną z młodych zawodników, których zadaniem było przede wszystkim zdobywanie doświadczenia na arenie międzynarodowej. Wielkim sukcesem miał być awans do barażu w Pradze, jednak Łotysze okazali się lepsi, zajmując w Częstochowie 3. pozycję. Co ciekawe, Rosjanie, którzy w tym roku wracają do światowej rywalizacji, nawet biorąc pod uwagę okres istnienia Związku Radzieckiego, nigdy nie zdobyli złotego medalu w rywalizacji drużynowej.
A ze mną oczywiście lider rosyjskiego zespołu Artiom Łaguta. Witaj, Artiom.
Dzień dobry.
Artiom, przed chwilą oglądaliśmy w materiale wasze popisy w drużynowym Pucharze Świata. Ostatni medal w 2012 roku, ale w tym będzie niezwykle ciężko. Nie ma Emila Sajfudinowa, nie ma twojego brata. No, o awans tutaj w Gnieźnie będzie bardzo, bardzo ciężko.
Będzie naprawdę ciężko tutaj awansować, ale jakby awansowali, mnie wydaje, że Emil i Grisza przyjadą na Wojenc i pomogą.
No właśnie, Emila nie ma. Chciał odpocząć, fatalna kraksa w czwartek w meczu z Wrocławiem. Natomiast twój brat powiedział jasno, nie ma pieniędzy, nie jadę. Ty tu przyjechałeś za własne pieniądze i to jest twoja dobra wola, że tutaj wystartowałeś i będziesz jechał ze swoim godłem na piersi?
Ja po prostu chciałem pojechać ten mecz dla Rosji, dla rosyjskich kibiców i chciałem pokazać ze swojej strony jak najlepiej pojechać i no po prostu chciałem pojechać to fajne zawody, fajne dla sponsorów, żeby oni zobaczyli jak jeszcze dobrze pojechałby, to naprawdę było coś takiego fajnego.
Na co stać dzisiaj reprezentację Rosji? Jesteście w stanie powalczyć o to, żeby pojechać w barażu?
Myślę, że tak, no dobrze byłoby, jakby my byliby trzeci czy drugi, też by pasowałoby.
Tyle. Artiom Łaguta zawsze uśmiechnięty i wesoły. Artiom, trzymamy kciuki za ciebie.
Dziękuję bardzo.
Dziękujemy. Tyle chłopak, który przyjechał prosto z Torunia niemalże. On w Bydgoszczy chyba ma swoją bazę, ale nie trenował dzisiaj bez treningu. Artiom Łaguta. Reprezentacja Rosji jest to reprezentacja, oczywiście mam orzełka na piersi, dlatego że jestem Polakiem, jak wszyscy będę kibicował dzisiaj naszym chłopakom, ale to jest trochę oni zaskarbili sobie moje serce, bo pomimo tych problemów pojawili się. Oni zwyciężyli w rundzie kwalifikacyjnej w Landshut, bo po 2013 roku musieli od nowa walczyć o ten awans. I to jest właśnie chyba ta drużyna, to co rozmawialiśmy z Kacprem, panie trenerze, na początku. To jest ta drużyna, która nagle może odpalić. I dzisiaj krwi, no może naszym zawodnikom nie napsują, ale ze Szwedami myślę, że w szranki będą w stanie stanąć, jeżeli pojadą na tej fantazji, jeżeli gdzieś się nie podpalą za bardzo, nie pogubią.
Oby tak było. Rosjanie to fajni ludzie. Jeżeli chodzi o samych zawodników, to każdy wie, że mają taki dynamizm w sobie i potencjał, począwszy od wyścigów na lodzie, nie mówiąc o żużlowych, przecież to każdy kibic wie, ale to są bardzo ludzie poza torem spokojni, stateczni i z którymi można dojść do porozumienia. Znam bardzo dobrze Renata Kafurowa, z którym wiele niedostatków żeśmy przechodzili w pewnym okresie i dalej stoi przy swoim i dalej jednak uczestniczy w tych jazdach. Słowa Artioma mówią to, że no przyjechał pościgać się dla Rosji. No, nie tylko jest ten pieniądz, no, na najwyższym poziomie to jest tak, no, można przekalkulować. On ma bardzo blisko z Bydgoszczy, tak, czy z Torunia, bo wczoraj jeździł, tam wygrał zawody i potraktował to, no, można powiedzieć, nie powiem, że treningowo, ale no, z marszu jako kolejną konfrontację, w której może określić swoje możliwości i wartość potwierdzić. Ale Kudriaszow i Białusow to są zawodnicy, którzy mają charakter i potrafią jeździć.
No właśnie, ty pamiętasz na pewno, Adrian, z czasów juniorskich tych zawodników, z kilkoma miałeś okazję się na pewno ścigać. No i Andrzej Kudriaszow, który zastąpił Wadima Tarasenkę w składzie Rosji dzisiaj na te zawody, na niego będziemy patrzeć. Mało tego, jak był Emil w składzie, to gdzieś tam po cichu mówiło się, kurczę, ci Rosjanie, oni jednak mogą tutaj powalczyć. Teraz, kiedy okazało się, że Emil nie pojedzie, było, no dobra, wygramy, ale ja bym chyba nie był tak do końca pewien, że to będzie łatwa walka, chociażby właśnie to, co mu powiedział pan trener, z zawodnikiem takim jak Kudriaszow.
No ja powiem tak, no wiadomo, że to nie będą łatwe zawody, tym bardziej, że ten tor wydaje się dzisiaj twardszy troszkę, więc no będzie na pewno walka fajna. Andrzeja znam dobrze z jazdy w zawodach młodzieżowych, więc na dodatek jeszcze w tym roku już jeździł tutaj w Gnieźnie. No to dobry wynik w lidze, więc myślę, że tutaj trzeba na niego spojrzeć troszkę bardziej.
No właśnie, to nie jest zawodnik, o którym mówimy, zamyka oczy, otwiera gaz, tylko wręcz przeciwnie, on bardzo, bardzo patrzy na to, co się dzieje na torze. Nie ma Emila Sajfudinowa. Emil, jego sytuacja, tak naprawdę ta sytuacja w ogóle z Wrocławia dała przyczynek do jeszcze innej dyskusji, ale najpierw dajmy się wypowiedzieć Emilowi. Emil, nie macie z nami, ale jesteś tutaj w wirtualnym świecie. Prosimy bardzo, Emil Sajfudinow.
Był równiejszy tor. Jak chcemy widowisko oglądać, żeby fajne mecze były, to trzeba robić fajny tor.
To jeszcze pytanie.
Przepraszam, że tak tyle opowiadam na ten tor, ale tylko naprawdę szkoda po prostu tych wszystkich upadków i to naprawdę boli.
Emil zwrócił uwagę na to, co się działo na torze, tak? On też przepraszał, że zwraca uwagę na tor, ale rzeczywiście motocykle są coraz szybsze i tutaj trochę naprzeciw wychodzi mu też Tomasz Suskiewicz. Ta technologia idzie do przodu, motocykle są coraz szybsze i rzeczywiście jeszcze nagromadzenie imprez, bo drużynowy Puchar Świata po raz pierwszy zaczyna się tak wcześnie, powoduje to, że gdzieś chyba te 3 ostatnie czy 4 dni trener Marek Cieślak i wszyscy trenerzy reprezentacji, którzy mają swoich zawodników w drużynówce, patrzyli na to naprawdę z wielkimi oczami, z bijącym sercem, panie trenerze, prawda? Tak jest trochę.
No tak, dokładnie, bo wiele lat temu normalnie ligi funkcjonowały, gdy ruszył Puchar Świata, Liga Szwedzka. Pamiętam, taki miałem przypadek w 2006 roku, gdzie doznał kontuzji Piotrek Protasiewicz, wziął go inny zawodnik. Teraz akurat Liga Szwedzka stoi, nasza nie stała, bo było przed Pucharem, była Liga. Wiadomo, w co celują wrocławianie, idzie im dobrze, coraz lepiej, muszą jak najwięcej punktów zdobyć na własnym torze, bo później jest przebudowa, stadion zamknięty. Stało się jak stało się, no to jest tak jak powiedziałeś, jak powiedział Susi, że no, technologia idzie do przodu i wyścig ten trwa i nieraz są nieprzewidywalne sytuacje na torze, gdzie no, my doszukujemy się jakichś przyczyn, ale ten sport jest na tyle tak zaszedł daleko, że dosłownie ten, kto chce wygrywać, to musi wchodzić na milimetry. Nie ma kalkulacji. ułamek, załóżmy, może nie tyle nieuwagi, ale załóżmy jakieś, nawet nie do koncentracji, ale przyspieszenia, jest styk i stało się jak stało się. Tu nie ma co szukać dziury w całym, no tak jest sport teraz, ten żużlowy.
W czwartkowym magazynie PG Ekstraligi twój krajan zresztą, Kacper Mirek Jabłoński, razem z Robertem Kościechą i z trenerem Markiem Cieślakiem też zwracają na to uwagę, że gdzieś, na przykład w lidze polskiej nie bada się chociażby tego bezpiecznika, tak? Takich rzeczy, a przy tym rozwoju, przy tej prędkości, bo sam przyznasz, że jednak trochę inaczej pracują te motocykle, trochę jeszcze lepiej, jeszcze tunerzy wyciskają więcej z sezonu na sezon, prawda? Więc to jest chyba gdzieś potrzebne, gdzieś może zabrakło tego po drodze?
No, ciężko coś takiego powiedzieć. Wiadomo, że wszystko idzie ku lepszemu, że tak powiem, w żużlu, czyli szybkościowo i bezpieczeństwo również, bo to dmuchane bandy naprawdę...
No, to jest podstawa, absolutnie.
Dokładnie. Fakt, że bezpieczniejsze są na łuku niż jak były kiedyś na prostej, bo tam przyhaczenie i wciągało po prostu, ale te dmuchane bandy naprawdę to jest dobry pomysł i dobrze, że takie coś jest. No ale ta prędkość, wiadomo, że tunerzy cały czas szukają, żeby być i jak najlepszym tym tunerem, więc ta prędkość myślę, że z biegiem czasu będzie jeszcze wzrastała.
I na to wszystko nakłada się też kolejny wątek. Wiadomo, wy jako zawodnicy, Kacper, chcecie jeździć, bo to jest jedyny tak naprawdę w sezonie wasz sposób przygotowania, tak? System startowy. Ale czy nie robi się czasami w kalendarzu za ciasno, tak jak właśnie było teraz? Czyli jakby zmierzam do tego, czy ta drużynówka jest trochę za wcześnie?
Look a bit of AC/DC out there, don't they?
In 2014, Big Gosh Poland were against the odds. Team Denmark win the Monster Energy Speedway World Cup. Poland, who were defending champions and on home soil, began the week as firm favourites to retain the overfunded trophy. Well, they faced a strong Danish and Australian side in the final, along with a competitive Great Britain. One of the best finals ever seen in the competition's history, the Poles went into the last heat decided tied on 36 points with the Danes, meaning Jonas Kalotze in the white helmet had to finish ahead of Denmark's Niels Christian Iversen in the red helmet to secure the gold medals. Something he thought he'd done for 4 laps of the final until the last corner of the last lap when Iversen passed him to break Polish hearts and steer Denmark to a famous victory by 1 point. The World Cup is now a truly global competition with 9 teams competing from around the world, from the USA to the Southern Hemisphere and Australia, back to Russia and Europe. So we start this year's competition here in Gniezno, Poland, after travelling to King's Lynn in the UK for event 2, and then on to Boyens, Denmark, for the race-off and the final as well. The format sees the country hosting the race-off and final. Last year's champions Denmark, they go straight through to the World Cup final in Boyens. Teams winning their respective qualifying event will join the Danes in that final. The teams finishing 2nd and 3rd will go to the race-off, where only 1 team will qualify for the last place available. Look out for the joker, double points, and there's only 4 riders in a team, and they race over 20 heats. So the Polish team start the 2015 campaign here in Gniezno, some 880 miles west from the capital Warsaw, as they take on Russia, Sweden and the Czech Republic for the first direct place into the final. Well, good evening and a very warm welcome here to Gniezno in Poland. Kelvin Tatum and myself, Nigel Pearson, talking you through the action. Event 1 of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup. And Kelvin, delighted to say, boiling hot day. Of course, the temperature is going to drop very soon, but a good crowd and perfect weather conditions for tonight's meeting.
Maybe just a touch too hot, Nigel, but there's no question it's a gorgeous evening, and as the temperature drops, it will be very pleasant indeed. A healthy crowd in here this evening, and it's all set fair. There's a strong support for the home team, and the World Cup's here, and we normally see some really spectacular stuff.
Nice scenery as well around the town of Gniezno here, as the home side Poland have gone for a very youthful-looking deed. Jarek Ampel is the oldest member of the side, and they're certainly ushering in the new guard.
Well, two debutants tonight, Nigel, with Bartosz Marslik, of course, a Grand Prix winner, and Przemek Pawlicki, another rider that's really making big strides in the sport. So interesting to see it's almost out with the old and in with the new for the Poles. And Marek Cieślak, hugely successful team manager and a brave team manager, I might add, has made this move. It'll be interesting to see how they get on.
No Thomas Golub, no Krzysztof Kasperzak, no Piotr Protasevich, so certainly time's moving on. A bit early to perhaps finish Krzysztof Kasperzak's World Cup career. But he number one is coming up very shortly from Gniezno, and the World Cup event one.
Well, here we see the boys coming out for heat number one, Nige, and this man in particular has been in the news for all sorts of reasons, Antonio Lindback, but I'm pleased to say that he's in the news for the right reasons of late. Antonio Lindback has been in sparkling form, and he's been scoring some big double-figure scores, and that's great for the Swedes, because he's a rider that has been around some time, been in the Grand Prix series, and he's hugely talented.
Certainly is. The man in white is Matej Kusz for the Czech Republic. Lindback, it'd be good to see him in action tonight. He was a Grand Prix regular at one stage, of course, but has missed out on that this year. And it'd be interesting to see if he can continue his fantastic run of form here in Gniezno tonight. So the Russian is Artem Laguta, former Grand Prix rider as well. I'm looking forward to seeing Bartosz Marslik, the Polish youngster, in action for the host nation here. So heat number one is coming up then, conditions perfect, and we're about ready to get underway. Here we go with the first race of the night then, the first race indeed of the 2015 Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup. Matej Kusz of the Czech Republic going off the inside in the white helmet. Antonio Lindback, gate 2 in blue for Sweden. Bartosz Marslik off gate 3 in red for the Poles. The host nation, of course, and Artem Laguta of Russia going off the outside. Good lineup to get us underway, Kelvin Tatum.
Yeah, very good indeed, and Artem Laguta is the only one that hasn't practiced here, but that's often the case with the young Russian. Of course, was in the Grand Prix series just a couple of years ago. Marslik, a major star on the rise in this part of the world, a former Grand Prix winner, of course, from Gorzów. Here we go for heat number one.
Greg Ackroyd of Great Britain is the man with the finger on the button, and it's a lovely start. Oh, Laguta's packed up, but it's a lovely... Lindback has well gone down, but Bartosz Marslik made a lovely start, but that is an awkward-looking tumble for Antonio Lindback. The race is stopped straight away.
A lot of water on the top of the track, Nigel, and a bit slick, and he just got it all wrong. Laguta's bike just packed up as soon as he dropped the clutch as the tapes went up. So
he won't be allowed back in the rerun because he wasn't under power. I'm pretty sure of that.
Doesn't go very far at all. But look at Lindback. He gets squeezed a little bit. He then straightens up, pulls a big locker behind Schmarslik and gets it all wrong and falls very awkwardly in the first corner.
He'll have to go, won't he?
Yeah, it's his own mistake. Just gets in there. Bike just straightens up underneath him and then locks up violently and high-sides over the footrest, throws him clear. I think he's okay, but you could see two exclusions here, which is far from ideals from the point of view of the meeting. It's a tight first corner, he pulls a big locker, it's a little bit greasy, bit of surface water on the track, and that's a very awkward pull.
Well, I think we'll only see two riders for the rerun. We're awaiting confirmation of that, but Artem Laguta quite clearly wasn't under power at the time of the stoppage of the race.
Well, this is far from ideal, Nigel, because the Poles are red-hot favourites for this evening's meeting. Freddie Lindgren there alongside Lindback. Lindback, of course, has been in fabulous form, but they can ill afford to throw points away, and unfortunately for the Swedish team, I'd be surprised if the referee doesn't exclude him.
Well, Lindback is holding his wrist, but it could easily have been the shoulder as well, Kelvin.
Well, the way you go over here, often when you high-side the bike, he overlocks there, the bike then, the footrest digs in, the right-hand footrest digs in and throws him over the handlebars, and you can land heavily on your right shoulder collarbone area where you can break it or dislocate the shoulder. So, you know, it's bound to feel the effects of it in some way, but he's going backwards there. Then the footrest digs in and throws him over, but I do believe that he's actually got away with that. He'll feel a bit second hand, but I'm sure he'll be able to take his remaining rides.
Fingers crossed that he does. The Swedes have left out Freddie Lindgren tonight, by the way.
One exclusion.
Artem Laguta disqualified. So Laguta quite clearly wasn't under power. And that means that he's giving it as a first bend incident and therefore allowing 3 other riders back in, Kelvin.
Well, if Lindback gets back in here, I think it's been very fortunate because in actual fact there was no contact between the other riders, Schmarzlik and Kusch, particularly on the inside of him. And yeah, I think that the Swedes have been very fortunate.
Well, this is a classic case, really, Kelvin, where if that was anywhere else but the first turn of the track, a decision would have had to have been made. And for me there, I don't know, it's all about opinions, many will disagree, but for me, Antonio Lindback has caused the stoppage of that race, and therefore should have been excluded.
He has, yeah, it wasn't Laguta. Laguta's bike packed up, he wasn't involved in the incident in the first corner. Lindback was just overdoing it in the first corner. Yeah, he got squeezed a bit, but there was no real contact. Bit of grease, bit of surface water, which can create that problem, but just got himself in a real pickle in the first corner and gets thrown off. I still think that he's been very lucky to get away with that.
You make a good point as well. We want to see Antonio Lindback fit and ready to race because they're going to need him, Sweden. If they are going to push Poland, they're going to need him.
Well, exactly that. So it's a major bit of good fortune for the Swedes where they've got their #1 man. I know Andreas Jonsson's the Grand Prix regular, but there's no doubt that Lindback is a rider that has been in fantastic form this year. He's had his problems off the track, they're well documented, but on the track this year he has been really doing the business. And as I say, I think he'll be relieved. I think he probably feels he can't quite believe that he's here in the 2 minutes and he's going to swing his leg over the bike.
Yeah, well, interesting decision. Craig Ackroyd, the referee from Great Britain, has Grand Prix experience as well. Craig Ackroyd in charge of tonight's action, but yeah, I think
they won't worry about that, will they?
Get on with it.
They'll be chuffed to bits, particularly if Lindback storms out of the start and wins the rerun. Initially, Schmarzlik had made a decent start from gate 3, but Lindback coming out of gate 2, this is quite often we see the opportunity then falls to the rider that was in trouble. He can then hit the front and pick up the 3 points. So 3 riders only.
Well, it's the start of a week-long festival of Speedway. We're back in the UK at Kings Lynn's Adrian Flux Arena on Monday, where Team Great Britain will be in action against the USA, including the reigning World Speedway champion Greg Hancock. In fact, there's 3 world champions in that meeting. 2012 world champion Chris Holder, 2013 world champion Ty Woffenden, and Latvia as well, who are very fast on their day. That's on Monday. Then the race off on Thursday in Vojens in Denmark, and the final this time next week, also in Vojens in Denmark. 3 riders only then for the restart, but many would suggest that perhaps it should have been 2, with Lindback allowed back in. And one can only assume that that was because it is a first bend incident. Matej Kusch goes off the inside here. White helmet colour for the Czech Republic. Antonio Lindback off gate 2 in blue. And going off gate number 3, Bartosz Schmarzlik, who'd made a good start, goes off gate 3 in red.
Yeah, Schmarzlik is, you know, a rider that's, without question, has oozes talent and ability. That man does as well. Janowski, of course, he has been in fabulous form as well. Here we go.
So we're off and running this time, and Schmarzlik comes across and has that lead, and the home fans are delighted with that. Lindback is going to try and swoop around the outside here of Matej Kusch, the Czech Republic rider, and he's done so as well. He's just squeezed past him now. Bartosz Schmarzlik, though, who we first saw on the world stage in the Gorzów Grand Prix, and he really did turn on the style on that occasion at his home track and raise the roof, and he is looking super quick here.
Yeah, he is, and this time Lindback he actually shut the throttle off as he got to the first corner to allow Schmarzlik to come round the outside, and he just then overtook Kusch, got himself into second place. Track's pretty slick in this opening race, no real supplies there, and Schmarzlik is enjoying himself out in front. A little bit rutty on the inside, but comfortable lead. He's roaring away out in front, and this is the ideal start for the home team. There will be pressure on the youngsters in the home team for sure.
Well, Schmarzlik, who's the youngest ever winner of a Grand Prix at 19 years of age. That was in Gorzów in August last year, and he has opened up in style for the Poles here tonight. Wonderful ride from Bartosz Schmarzlik. Did it all the work from the start of heat number 1. Super effort indeed, and the Poles laying a marker down already. They're clear favourites for tonight. That's the reason why. Smarslik in this revamped Polish side with no Tomasz Golub, of course, no Krzysztof Kasperzak, no Piotr Protasevich. It is the young guns coming through like Smarslik, and that is a super ride. He wins heat number 1 then. Second place went to Antonio Lindbach. Third place went to Matej Kusz of the Czech Republic. And the last place, the disqualification, was Artem Laguta, who wasn't under power at the time of the stoppage in heat number 1.
Well, Dad just having a word with Son there, and he's delighted. Zizek there, the shorter man on the right-hand side. It's a red-hot day, so a bit of an ice pack on the back of the neck just to cool him down, but he was red-hot out in front, wasn't he? And I do believe we're going to see an awful lot more of Bartosz, because quite clearly he's really growing in stature at this level. A clean pair of heels to the opposition. We just see Lindbach there just a little bit more circumspect as he goes to the first corner. You watch it this time. He'll shut the throttle off in a minute. There you go. Just hesitates because he knows he could run into trouble. He allows the bike then to rip round the outside of Kusz, who he deals with fairly early on in the race. But unfortunately for Lindbach and the Swedes, he can do nothing about the youngster out in front, Smarslik, who an aggressive style on the bike and thoroughly enjoys the opening ride.
Always great to watch.
Good-looking rider, isn't he?
Yeah, very much so. Lovely style, isn't it?
Smashing, yeah. And as I say, we're going to see an awful lot of him. He's only a puppy, really. And I'd say he's already won a GP on his home track, and I think he's going to be a regular fixture at this level for an awful long time.
Only a matter of time before he's a fully fledged Grand Prix rider, surely.
Yep.
As we move on to heat number 2, the Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup. One rider from each nation in every race. So there's no team riding as such here. It's still individual racing, if you like. One rider from each nation in each race.
It's an interesting point you raised, because having ridden in the World Team Cup, as it was called, it's actually you ride as an individual. You don't ride with a partner, the pairs final you used to. So from a rider's point of view, it's an individual event, effectively.
Andreas Jonsson off the inside in blue for Sweden, Mats Janowski off 2, Kudryashov for Russia going off gate number 3 in yellow, and Thomas Suchanek for the Czech Republic going off the outside gate. Now, Mats Janowski in red is a man bang in form. We saw him in the UK on Wednesday night in red-hot form for the Paul Pirates, Kelvin, and he is really shifting right now.
Yeah, he's top quality, and in the Prague Grand Prix he was sensational there as well. So Janowski is another rider that has really come of age, but he moved a bit early there.
Certainly did, and he's got away with it. Well, he's got the lead here, the red lights have come on. That doesn't surprise me at all.
No, I thought for a moment he got away with a bit of a flyer there. The sunshine's beating down on the track, and some riders clearly didn't see the red light come on, but just as we were building him up, he did jump the start. You see him clearly moving early. In actual fact, watching that again, let's watch this very closely indeed, because he must come awfully close to touching the tapes. He doesn't, so he will be in the rerun, but he'll have a warning for that.
Well, he's made the start and has hit the front. If he'd have punished himself there and came away from the start at the back, I reckon Craig Ackroyd may have allowed the race to continue, because Janowski had punished himself there.
Yeah, and I think that's the right thing to do. There's no reason for a delay then, is there? We have a delay now where riders then readjust the chain. We've got clutch coolers now out. It's a red-hot evening, and the clutch will get hot very quickly indeed. It is a delicate area for a bike. It's an air-cooled clutch. It's something that takes an awful lot of strain when the revs are on the start. And, again, the rear chain just slackens off, so they're readjusting that. Time is going down on the clock now, so it won't be long before boys are beginning to make their way around.
Yep, the right decision, no doubt, from Craig Ackroyd to call them back on that occasion. Unsatisfactory start. I'm sure Mats Janowski will have had a word at his ear. That
Ref got that one right, didn't he?
Yeah, he needs to behave himself. Magic on this occasion. Andreas Jonsson, a world-class rider, of course, with all that experience under his belt, going in blue for Sweden.
Yeah, but Jonsson has been struggling, hasn't he? Because he's had that
knee injury,
nasty knee injury, Nigel, and missed a lot of league racing in the UK as well as abroad. And I've got to say that he's ridden well in the GPs, but has struggled at league level. And he's admitted that he needs the World Cup to really get back to top form. So I'm sure he'll be very eager to put in a really big display this evening.
Well, the big question here then in Gniezno tonight is, can anybody stop the host nation, Poland, from breezing straight through to the World Cup final? next Saturday night. We know that Denmark are already there as the host nation. They're seeded directly through, and of course, since the host nation have been seeded through in the format of the competition, it does mean that the race-off, you only have one nation qualify. There used to be two,
Well, yeah.
but now it's the winners only in the race. Winner takes all in the race-off on Thursday night.
And teams before would like to go through the race-off with two qualifying, but now all of a sudden they want to avoid it at all costs.
Jonsson, Janowski, Kudryashov and Sushinek is the lineup across the grid then for heat number 2. Janowski will be told to behave himself off gate number 2, sit still.
I'm sure Marek Cieslak had a quiet word with him there. We saw him just having a laugh with his rider prior to the rerun of this race, but I think at the beginning of that, I'm sure he would have told him, look, come on, we're favourites here, we don't want to give any points away, we don't want to be complacent, so make sure you don't get yourself in trouble.
Here we go then, second time of asking, heat number 2, and it's the 4th start of the night here. And going into that first turn, Jonsson is there. That's a good ride from Andreas Jonsson of Sweden around the outside. Here comes Janowski, he switches up the inside now. And Kudryashov, the Russian, is in the mix as well, with Sushinek trailing at the back. Oh! All over the place, my goodness.
Kudryashov straightens up almost to the point where possibly he had some sort of mechanical drama. Straightens up underneath Janowski. Janowski's okay, saw it coming. That could have been a lot worse. Good to see both riders up.
Yeah, that was potentially disastrous. Thankfully, he's okay.
I'll tell you what, his bike's not looking too good, is it?
Well, the bike's taken most of the impact, and that's good.
It has, but he straightens up there. Oh! Jonsson's so lucky, and how well did Janowski do here? Just look how well he does to react.
I think
sees him coming out of the corner of his eye and shuts the throttle, and Andreas Jonsson also extremely fortunate not to be high-sided here, massively. Kudryashov there just straightening up, and the bike then running hard into the air fence. I tell you what.
He's caught Jonsson's knee with the front wheel.
He has. That could have been an awful lot worse.
Jonsson's looking back as if to say, what the heck was that? Well, the Russians, 2 heats, 2 exclusions. Fair to say it's not going their way, is it?
Having a tough night. I'll tell you what, not only that, the equipment there looks very second-hand. I don't think we'll see that bike again. Look at that. Crikey.
Oh dear.
That's a lot shorter than it should be.
Well, it's good that the equipment, the bike itself, has taken the brunt of the impact and not the rider.
Got off it.
Russia, who were hit by the withdrawal of Emil Sayfutdinov just 48 hours ago. And now it's going to be 3 riders only for the restart of heat number 2. But AJ, the leader from Sweden, struck by the front wheel of Kudryashov's bike.
He saw it, he shut the throttle off, and then what happens is the back tyre catches up with yourself and actually pushes you forward. And that, I can't tell you how lucky they are. That could have been so much worse, particularly for Jonsson. And then, Maciej Janowski, he actually, it was a minor miracle that he didn't run him over. And no wonder Kudryashov is grateful to Janowski, because if Janowski had ridden him over, he wouldn't be walking back into the pits.
Well. Thankfully, they're all okay. And we'll be set for the restart of heat number 2. Here we see it again. Doesn't get any prettier, does it?
Oh! How on earth doesn't he take Jonsson out? But I say again, how well Janowski does to somehow kill his speed and not run him down there. He just sees it coming in the nick of time and is able to scrub his speed off. Brilliant reactions from the Polish rider. And Andreas Jonsson's looking at a rider coming at him out of the corner of his eye there and thinking, crikey, I'm going to go down, not again. And he gets away with it.
I was in 2 minds there. Did he pack up, or was it the track? But it looks as though he's packed up here.
Well, I think he's probably hit a rut on the inside, Nige, and the bike is just straightened up, and then he realises he's shut the throttle off. But when you shut the throttle off, of course, the bike goes faster for a few seconds. So, yeah, not very pretty.
Well, thank goodness they're okay. That's the most important thing.
I haven't seen this youngster ride before, Nigel, and so far I haven't seen much of him this evening. Only half a lap, so haven't really got any idea of what he's all about. But he was actually holding second place there and looking relatively strong. But unfortunately for the Russians, they've had a nightmare start.
It's his second appearance in the World Cup. He comes in for Tarasenko, who's ill, rides a big gosh in the Polish league. and he was the 2012 Russian Under-21 champion.
So he's a rider of some standing. So, you know, to ride in any league in Poland is, you must know what you're up to.
Yeah.
The bike there clearly is going to have some major surgery because the front end of it is very much bent out of shape.
And that's expensive as well, Kelvin.
It will be, yeah. 2 minutes on, counting down.
So we're going to have a 5th start.
A couple of races,
for 2 heats, yeah.
Start line will be worn out before the time we get to heat 4. It's not the perfect start to tonight. And I just sense that, you know, with Janowski jumping the start and Tony Lindback getting himself in a pickle in the first corner, I just wonder whether there is a bit of nerves around, you know.
Yeah, first event of the World Cup.
Yeah, a bit of tension about.
Yeah, well, here we go again then with heat number 2. The riders prepare for action, and full credit again to this guy. You said it, Kelvin, the way Janowski scrubbed his speed and got off the bike to avoid a worse scenario.
Oh yeah, he reacted. He just saw him. He just could see it happening, and he reacted brilliantly. And that man there, he was the fortunate one, Jonsson, because how on earth he was managed to get away with that? He could have been forced over the high side and then slammed into the track.
Well, I was worried about the knee because I do recall that it was the right knee that has been problematic so far for him, and he was hitting the left knee on that occasion.
So he'd have 2 dodgy knees.
So, yeah.
Balance him up.
Just good to see the boys okay. That's the most important thing. Heat number 2 coming up here. 3rd time of asking. So, Andreas Jonsson off the inside in blue for Sweden. Mats Janowski gate 2 in red for Poland. No rider off 3. Kudryashov disqualified. And Thomas Sushanek going off the outside in the white helmet colour. Here we go. Heat number 2. Surely this time we'll get it away. Get 4 laps done.
Yeah, fingers crossed we get the 4 laps in. Janowski's got a 3rd opportunity now to try and make the start here. Jonsson is a danger. He made a smashing start 2nd time.
This time they're away once again, and it's a good start from Jonsson. Now Janowski is going to try the inside run here. Jonsson loses it momentarily and goes wide towards the fence. But 2nd place is Janowski, 3rd in white is Thomas Sushanek, so it's a 3-point haul at the moment for Sweden and Andreas Jonsson. That would put them on 5. Janowski would get 2. That would level it on 5 for Poland. So Sweden and Poland would be level if it stays like this after 2 heats.
Jonsson looking good out in front here, Knights. Kept his composure, made a super start from the inside. Janowski working the track, inside, outside. Does look a little threatening. Sushanek is tailed off, but keep your eyes on Janowski. Any mistake now from Jonsson, I think Janowski will be there, ready to pounce.
Yep, Jonsson knows that he cannot relax here. Heat number 2 it is, and here comes Janowski. He's going to try the wide run around the outside. Has he got the speed down the back straight? Jonsson has got all the experience to call upon, and now Janowski tries the similar run to Jonsson. Down towards the checkered flag we go, and Jonsson's just done enough. Great effort from Janowski that, but Jonsson has done enough there for Sweden. In heat number 2, the crowd really appreciate the efforts put in by Mats Janowski there. So 3 big points for Sweden on that occasion, and that puts them level with Poland after 2 heats of tonight's World Cup event number 1. It's been a frustrating start in many ways with 5 starts for 2 heats, but Jonsson looked good there, and he had Janowski all over him as well. Jonsson the winner, Janowski 2nd, Sushanek was 3rd, Kudryashov disqualified. Level pegging now at the top of the leaderboard. 5 points each for Poland and Sweden, Czech Republic 2, and Russia yet to trouble the scorers.
Yeah, good ride from Andreas Jonsson because he was under a lot of pressure there throughout the 4 laps. Just having a chat with Freddie Lindgren and the team manager. We see it again. Good reaction from Jonsson, but a decent start from Janowski, who immediately tucks to the inside. It's fairly slick there. Just lifts there. You called it, Nige. First time around, he called it there, and that could have been costly, but he just recaptures the bike and gets it going again. Janowski did have a little bit more speed than the Swedish rider out in front. Worked the track very hard, but just could not quite find a way through. It's fairly slick here, and there isn't too much extra grip that you can get away from the fastest line round. So a great response from the Swedish team, and this is pretty much what was predicted, a fight out between Poland and Sweden.
Now heat number 3 coming up, and we see Przemysław Pawlicki for the home side Poland, known as Shamek, who is a very classy rider. Peter Young in blue rode 3 seasons here for this club, and that is the main reason why Sweden have selected him tonight to really call on the benefit of his experience of this track here in Gniezno. And going off the inside then, it is Przemysław Pawlicki for the host nation Poland. Václav Milik goes off gate number 2 in white. We saw him in Prague as a wild card for the Czech Republic Grand Prix a fortnight ago. The Swede is Peter Young, and going off gate number 4, Rinat Gafurov, who's got plenty of experience, the Russian, and he comes in here, called in for Emil Sayfutinov, as we say, who withdrew from this meeting 48 hours ago.
Shame. I was looking forward to seeing Sayfutinov this evening. He's such a star on the bike, but he's not here. Peter Young under pressure here because Freddie Lindgren's lurking in the paddock, and he's a quality rider. Václav Milik in gate 2. He's an interesting customer.
Certainly is, but it's a good start by Pawlicki, and Milik is trying to squeeze out Peter Young. Young has got the speed though, and now Milik comes up the inside of Gafurov for 3rd. The lead here is Przemysław Pawlicki. They may be a young side, this Polish outfit, but they're very, very quick and going into lap 2. Pawlicki has the advantage, but Young is right up his back wheel here and really giving it a go.
He is indeed. Peter Young really going hard in 2nd place. Pawlicki making a super start, but there's no question that Peter Young has got some speed in 2nd place. Václav Milik just not quite getting to the 1st corner and having to make a move, but Peter Young in 2nd place is working the track, looking for a way past, running in slightly deeper than the pole, squaring the corner off, desperately trying to keep his speed up, desperately looking for a way through.
Good race this with Peter Young.
Wide.
Oh, he's gone too wide that time, and that allows Milik through.
Oh, mistake.
Yeah, Milik is going to pick the pocket there of Peter Young, and Young was really on the coattails of the pole. Przemysław Pawlicki, who takes the checkered flag. And that will open up a 2-point cushion because of Peter Young's slip there going way too wide. It allowed Milik through on the inside, and a fine ride from Pawlicki. He was under pressure early on, and with Peter Young making that mistake, it does open up a 2-point gap between Poland and Sweden at the top of tonight's meeting here in Poland. So, good ride.
Yeah, brilliant ride there from Pawlicki out in front. Got a feel for Peter Young, went for the big blast around the outside and went backwards and allowed Milik to steal 2nd place away.
This is how it stands now overall after 3 races. Poland 2 points up on Sweden, 4 points up on the Czech Republic, and Russia still haven't scored a point. 3 races gone here in the first event of the 2015 Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup, and a 2nd win on the night for a Polish rider. 2 wins in 3 rides for Poland.
No surprise in that really, but the surprise here was that Peter Young kind of gifted 2nd place to Václav Milik. A tough 1st corner with Milik and Young clashing as they got to the 1st corner. We see it again, and the tapes are up. Pawlicki on the inside there, the start working well. Andreas Johnson made the start from there in the previous race, and likewise for the Polish rider. Milik there just hustling it in the 1st corner and gets relegated to the back, and then subsequently gets straight into 3rd place. But Peter Young then runs a little bit too wide later on in the race. You see here, he's literally hunting Pawlicki down. To be all intents and purposes, it looks like he could actually take the lead. But unfortunately for Peter Young, he makes a decision to run deep here in the 1st corner. It's slick, it's greasy out there, and he goes backwards big time. And Milik, like you said, picks his pocket and says thanks very much, I'll have the 2 points. And for the Poles, they'll be pleased with their start.
Yeah, very much so. Heat number 4 coming up. We should mention, by the way, that Sweden are without a key rider as well. Not only have they left Lindgren out tonight, but they're without Thomas H. Jonasson, Grand Prix rider, who has that knee problem. He's withdrawn from the World Cup campaign, Thomas H. Jonasson. But our information is that all the signs are that Lindgren will be called back into the Swedish side for Voyens, and whether it be the race-off or the final, maybe both. Linus Sundström off the inside for Sweden in blue. Jari Kampel goes off gate 2. Gate 3 in yellow is Belousov, the Russian, and Edward Krčmar for the Czech Republic is going off the outside here in the white helmet colour. This is Heat 4, the most experienced Polish rider on show now, Jari Kampel, but it's a super start from Linus Sundström in blue. Charging around the outside is Belousov, the Russian. Here he comes down the back straight. Whoa!
Kampel's going to get off as well! Oh, he's buried in the air fence. Belousov got completely squeezed up down the back straight by Sundström. He's got away with it, but I tell you what, Hampel had to bail off as well because there was a clash. God, that was a high-speed incident.
That was dreadful, wasn't it? Well, you could see it developing, couldn't you?
Could we? That was dramatic in the extreme. Got a feel for Hampel. He made a poor start, but his bike and him went in the fence really hard.
There is concern for Hampel here
and
now.
No wonder, Nigel, no wonder. He went in there at top speed, and he'll be very fortunate to get away with that. Belousov there really charging hard down the back straight. How on earth he gets away with that, and Hampel, not involved in the initial incident, he becomes the innocent bystander to a degree, and now there is major concern for Jarek Hampel.
Yeah, he's gone under the air fence, hasn't he? And
well, the bike punched a hole in it first, Nigel, and he followed in, and that's not a good sign.
Well, let's hope he's going to be okay, Jarek Hampel, because, well, that did look quite nasty. And several medical experts around him now. His Polish teammates are there as well.
High-speed incident, really
very
high
much
speed.
so, very much so. Charging into that third turn, high speed.
Well, that Belousov, he got alongside Sundström, hasn't he? And Sundström squeezed him up, and he was literally squeezed and slammed into the fence, lost control. Hampel really then was in all sorts of trouble, bailed off the back of the bike. Bike punches a hole in the air fence, and he then possibly has clouted the bike in the way through. It was, again, another bike absolutely written off in an accident early part of this meeting.
This is a bruising meeting already. Drama already in the first 4 heats. We've only completed 3 of them. Hampel's bike well out of shape.
Also.
And major concern over Jarek himself as well. Smashing fella, Jarek Hampel.
Had a nasty injury a few years ago in Copenhagen. Yeah, where he broke his leg and dislocated his ankle, I think, as well. Dreadful incident with Kenneth Bier in the first corner. He came back really well from that. And he is a true professional, super fit. He is an athlete as well, but far from ideal.
Yeah, and this will be a blow to the Polish side as well if Hampel cannot continue, and all the signs are right now, with the ambulance there and the medical staff just looking down at the track.
Well, you can't have a
great
reserve
care for
gun
him.
can
No,
you?
they're taking great care over him, Kelvin.
Well, and no surprise, we see the start again. Hampel has made a poor start. It's Sundström on the inside and Belousov around the outside. As they go down the back straight, Belousov's got a great run there, and Sundström literally just squeezes him into the fence. And then Hampel there. Hampel's run into the bike, and that's why he's hurt. Hampel is unfortunate here because Belousov comes back across and clashes into Hampel. That's a hard move from Sundström to slam the door there. Hampel clouts the bike, he's out of control. And Hampel follows his own bike in, and I'm sure he's collected the motorbike, and that's why. Look at this. Belousov there getting alongside is slammed into the fence by Sundström. And then the contact between Hampel and Belousov, and from then on it's all the fireworks are let off then, because he gets away with it, the Russian, but the Polish boy Hampel does not.
Yeah, the Russian boy in yellow is back in the pits.
Sundström was completely unaware that the Russian was coming round the outside. I don't think it was, you know, any malice in the move, but he did squeeze him up. But there's no doubt that Hampel will be feeling the full effects of that because of the speed he followed his motorbike in.
So still, we know that Russia will not score a point here. Again, a bike in a bit of a mess.
Belousov there. I feel for him because he got alongside Sundström, and Sundström's the one that squeezed him up. And I know somebody had to be excluded, but, you know, he didn't really deserve that. And I'll tell you who didn't deserve the incident was Jarek Hampel, a complete innocent victim.
We keep our fingers crossed that he's going to be okay, Jarek Hampel. Now, race director Phil Morris is charging back to the pits to just check on things ahead of Heat 4.
Puts this meeting in a completely different light now.
It does.
The polls go down to 3 riders, then they're looking at the race-off.
Well, it's a golden opportunity for Sweden, isn't it?
Yep.
If Hampel cannot continue.
Belousov gets a great run off there. Momentarily, he's in front of Sundström, and he's the one that's been excluded.
And he just gets quicker there, Hampel.
Oh, yeah, you're going to, because he's off the throttle, and that's the damage, Nige. He follows his bike straight into the fence.
Look at him go quicker. It's awful.
The
it's
bike,
awful.
It is. It's dreadful. And as a feeling as a rider, Belousov gets away with it. He's innocent here. He's got a great run off the first corner. Now, gets his wheels in line, he's on the outside, and he gets slammed into the fence by Sundström. To be honest, I disagree with...
That's where Jarek should have jumped off the bike.
Well,
it's easier said than done, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel for the Russian here. The Russian's done a great job to get round the outside, and Sundström's just pushed him into the fence.
And there we see Hampel, where the bike's getting quicker and he cannot get off it.
Oh, that would be a terrible feeling, terrible. Out of control, can't get away from the bike.
Here we see it again. This is the angle down the back straight where you see no room.
Well, Sundström just keeps squeezing him up, doesn't he? And they crash into the fence. I think it's hard on Belousov, and he's got no chance there, and Hampel's the innocent victim, and then just literally takes off. And it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see Hampel again.
Well, I do hope we do see Jarek again. Purely innocent victim. A nightmare for him there. Such a tough sport, Speedway. And he could do absolutely nothing about it, Jarek Hampel. The most experienced rider in the Polish side. He was World Under-21 champion some 12 years ago, and he has ridden in all 6 of Poland's World Cup wins.
Well, he's been hugely successful in the World Cup, hasn't he? And there's no doubt that he will be massively missed if he can't take his place in the lineup.
Marek Cieślak, a nasty moment for your captain, Jarek Hampel. What can you tell me?
Jarek is taken now to the hospital because probably he is broken his leg. So very, very unlucky accident.
Something totally not his fault, just an innocent place to be.
No. This is broken. This is 100%. And this rule is in the World Team Cup, we should have a reserve rider. But this is stupid.
This is obviously not possible, but now you must pick the other 3 riders up and do your best.
Yeah, I hope my guys good well today, and maybe we score points enough for the first place. If not, we have a race of advance.
Okay. Very bad luck, and thank you for your time.
Yes, sorry.
Good of Marek Cieślak to talk to us, but the bad news is it does appear as though it is a broken leg for Jarek Hampel. Well, you mentioned that broken leg he suffered in Copenhagen a couple of years ago, Kelvin, and looks like it's happened again here.
That's awful news if that is true, because you know, the speed he went into, he's clearly just collected the bike as he's gone into the air fence, and the bike is a very ugly thing to hit. It's got some nasty bits and pieces on it, and I feel for Hampel because as it was obvious he was completely innocent in the incident.
Was it the bike, or was it the fact that the air fence was lifted by the bike and he followed into the wooden boards?
I think he's hit the bike, in truth. I think he's followed his own bike in, and from what I saw, it looks like he's literally followed his bike in and crashed into the bike, and the air fence is out of the way, so nothing's absorbed his impact, so very unfortunate. And if he's broken his leg, which Marek Cieślak seemed to be quite...
He seems convinced, doesn't he?
Quite confident of.
Yeah.
I've got to say, we won't be seeing him for several weeks, will we?
Dreadful. We wish Jarek Hampel all the very best. And here's Steve Brandon with more.
Fredrik Lindgren, it's not often at this time of year you get to stand around and watch a meeting. How was it tonight?
It's a bit different, but you know, I'm trying to help the boys as much as I can with my knowledge, and the boys are really focused and fired up for tonight's meeting, and I think they showed it on the track so far.
I know that you know, we've only had 3 full races so far. As a rider, is it hard to sort of sit around and the meeting not really get going?
I think so, especially for the boys who hasn't been out much. You know, like Peter and Linus had to wait a bit, but. You know, we're all professionals, it's happened before, and you just have to stay focused a little bit more longer.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, Lindgren, who is expected to figure in Voyens, but with no Jarek Hampel, Sweden favourites for this meeting now. The Poles are really going to have to hope that Pawlicki, Janowski and Smarslik go through the card from here and win races galore.
Team, but also for the man himself, he's been riding very well this year. And it's been strong in the Grand Prix series as well, so yeah, that is a massive blow for him. And as I say, he was looking threatening to go certainly as a top 3 runner in the world this year, so yeah, fingers crossed that it's not too serious, but as I say, quite often it's obvious that there's an injury. Look at the state of the motorbike, that is absolutely total at the front. and it was indicated, you saw how quickly the bike took off, and that is as a result. It's not because he's got the throttle wide open, it's because he's actually shutting the throttle, and the bike actually catches up with itself. You get a whole load of grip, and you get this surge of grip that gives you a surge of speed. Haven't got any brakes on a speedway bike, so you are then literally in the lap of the gods.
So, 1 minute 20, Phil Morris, the race director, tells the riders, so that's how long they have to be ready for action and raring to go for heat number 4. And it is already a dramatic opening to this World Cup tournament here in Poland tonight in Gniezno. Heat number 4 coming up. We have one rider already ruled out with a suspected broken leg. We have drama, crashes and controversy, and, well, just needs to settle down now and really get some momentum going for this meeting, I think.
Yeah, I felt, you know, Sundström was tough down the back straight, whether he was over the top or not. Possibly, he possibly was. He pushed the Russian so hard, but we're just now going to see just a couple of riders. It's effectively a match race here, but Krčmar, we saw in last year's World Cup at times, was really very quick indeed, so can he do anything about that man on the inside?
Here we go then, no substitute available for Poland. The only time they could consider that is if they were 6 points behind the leading nation. If they do go 6 behind, then they can bring a substitute in to replace one of Hampel's rides. But they're already 2 points up, so they have to go another 8 behind the Swedes. And if Sundström wins this race, then that'll be 3 points pegged back for Sweden. But up the inside comes Krčmar. Good ride from the man in white. Wheel to wheel with Linus Sundström now in blue, who's come back and has the advantage now. It's a straight match race between these two riders, remember. Linus Sundström for Sweden in blue and Edward Krčmar in white for the Czech Republic. And if it stays like this, Sweden will go on to 9 and they will lead Poland by a point.
Yeah, he just made a mistake in the first corner there. Sundström went a little bit too wide and allowed Krčmar to tuck back to the inside coming from gate 4. He's settled nicely out in front now. Track is riding quite slick, but Krčmar pulling a showboaty wheelie in second place. But Sundström and the Swedish riders now realising that they've got a huge opportunity to go through to the final next Saturday, of course, in Boyens. And he's not allowing it to slip. He's out in front, looking good.
Well, they are favourites, I would say, but it's not a given, is it, where Sweden are concerned? They know they've still got to work hard, because in 3 of every 4 heats, Poland will have Pawlicki, Janowski and Smarslik. And one thing's for sure, it's a little bit of extra pressure on the youngsters now, because the most experienced man and captain is out of the meeting.
Yeah.
So the Polish youngsters are going to have to deliver the goods here with a tall order indeed. 4 heats gone now, though. Every nation has had one ride. And with that win for Linus Sundström, it does mean that Sweden take the lead in this meeting. With 16 heats still to go, Sundström, Krčmar, 2 finishes only. And there's the standings after 4 heats.
Yeah, good ride from Linus Sundström. He made a mistake initially in the first corner by going a little bit too wide. And we'll see it here quite clearly with Krčmar coming from the outside. It's an easy decision for the young Czech Republic rider to make. He's got a whole load of room there, and momentarily he's in front, but Sundström's able to respond, gets that little bit of extra speed off the outside. See it there, neck and neck initially there, but Krčmar just can't quite make that stick as he comes off that first corner. Sundström's able to slam the door shut as they go into turn 3 in the opening lap, and then he's quite comfortable out in front, able to ride comfortably, and wins the race in fine style, and they now lead the meeting.
Well, an interesting start, Kelvin, frustrating in many ways, and of course all our thoughts are with Jarek Hampel of Poland, because it could be a lengthy absence that now. I suppose the way to look at it is, we still have, what, 4 weeks until the next Grand Prix in Cardiff, but still a tall order. Here's Steve Brandon.
Antonio Lindbeck, a nasty moment for you in Heat 1. How's the body?
You know, it's speedway, you know. We was coming really tight together, and I just flip over a little bit, so it's life.
I know that Speedway throws up lots of things, but a real opportunity with the bad luck for Poland, for Sweden to capitalise tonight.
Yeah, you know, like I think we have taken a few points now, so we are still in the game, and that's the important thing, you know. So we just keep going.
I spoke to Frederick in the long break when they were fixing the fence. For riders, is it difficult when a meeting takes so long to get going?
It is, you know, you're getting pumped up, and then when the meeting starts to go longer and longer, it's just you're coming down a little bit. But it's very important to keep up and keep focused.
Word on the track, a track you know well.
Yeah, I think the track is nothing wrong with it. Track, you know, it's like it's fun to race out here, and it's a good line, so I'm happy.
Thanks, Antonio.
Thanks.
Yeah, Antonio Lindback clearly enjoying his speedway, and good to see that he's okay after that nasty spill, because that could have been a broken collarbone or a broken wrist.
An interesting start to tonight, Nigel. I think it's been quite a dramatic start with the incidents we've seen. Here the standings so far, and we're going to see that Sweden are on 9 and Poland on 8. As you rightly say, Smarslik, Pawlicki and Janowski have got a lot of pressure now. They've pretty much got to go unbeaten if they want to win here this evening. Kochmar and Milik, well, Milik was fortunate to grab his 2 points, and a desperate start for Russia, failing to score in the first 4 rides. That's tough for them.
Yep, 3 exclusions in 4 heats for Russia. It's fair to say it's not been their night.
No, well, Laguta's bikepacking up. It's a shame that we don't see Saifutinov taking part, and Artem's brother, Grigory Laguta. Both of those 2 riders are genuine world class and would actually give the Russian of a real good chance of making the final, Nigel.
More reaction down in the pits now with Steve Brandon.
Przemek Pawlicki, a very good win for you in your first World Cup race.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not so bad, but we must change something because I don't have speed on the track. And we try something new for next year, maybe it's better.
And it's going to be very tough for the riders now. Losing your captain, it's going to make it a very tough meeting now.
Yeah, it's not so good situation now, but we do everything for every race. We do for the fight for the every point, because this is important now. And we race now for him, yeah, because he's the captain and he wanted same win today, same me and Maciek and Bartek. And Jarek, trzymaj się, trzymamy za ciebie kciuki.
So the 3 young guys will do it for the old guy.
Yeah, now, but we are young, everyone, because Jarek maybe is a little bit old, but it's big, somewhere young guy. Same me, Maciek, Bartek, and it's no good situation for Poland team now, but we fight for the good position.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Well, I hope I wasn't called old when I was in my early 30s, but we'll have to see. But there is plenty of pressure on the young team from Poland now. They're at home, of course, and they know this place inside out, but there's no doubt they can ill afford any mistakes now.
Standings after 4 heats, then Sweden lead by a point. The Poles have got Bartosz Smarslik off the outside gate here. Andreas Jonsson is alongside him on the grid off gate 3. So an important race coming up. Heat number 5 on the way. Andreas Jonsson ready for action in the blue helmet colour here.
The race director there said there's too much water gone down on the track and he's not that happy about it. It's a slick track and they really have put plenty of water on. And I just get the feeling he made his feelings known to Phil Morris there.
Interesting. Heat number 5 as the sun begins to set in Gniezno. And a lot of pressure on Smarslik for Poland here.
You can see the amount of water on there, Nige, plenty of it. Fingers crossed it doesn't cause any problems. Jonsson not happy. He's going to have to put that to the back of his mind because right now they're in with a great chance.
Heat number 5 it is then of the event 1 of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup. Milik for the Czech Republic off 1, Belousov off 2 for Russia, Jonsson off 3 for Sweden. Didn't look happy when talking to Phil Morris, the race director. Smarslik going off the outside here in the red helmet colour. The nations do keep the same helmet colour throughout the course of the evening. Poland red, Sweden blue, Czech Republic white and Russia in yellow. This man under pressure, Bartosz Smarslik, the youngster now, with Andreas Jonsson just on the inside off gate number 3. A lot of pressure on the Poles, a 3-man team now with no replacement available for Jarek Hampel, and it's a good start from Jonsson. Smarslik now charges across the outside and has clamped the line, and Smarslik with a clever move has got the lead. Václav Milik is holding second spot now. That'll be a good result for Poland. Third place is Jonsson, but charging up the inside, Belousov now as well, and Jonsson of Sweden has been relegated to the back.
He has indeed. He ran far too wide in the bottom corner. He's got completely filled in. It's greasy there, and he'll be absolutely furious here. A massive opportunity here for the Polish team. Fair play to Smarslik, absolutely ripped around the first corner and charging away out in front. Milik in second. The Russians looking like they might grab a point here. First time on the night. Jonsson's still frustrated. He's out the back.
Well, it is very, very wet out there after the water carpet.
Wow.
So much down during the grading break.
If I was Phil Morris, I'd be ducking out of the way after this race, because there's no question that Jonsson's going to be furious and so frustrated. He's out the back, Smarslik out in front. He delights the home crowd.
What a win for Bartosz Smarslik. 2 rides and 2 wins. The youngest rider in the Polish team. And it is his debut in the World Cup. And it's a dream debut for Bartosz Smarslik with 2 wins from his opening 2 rides. But Andreas Jonsson will be fuming about that. Russia have got their first point on the board tonight. But Poland with Bartosz Smarslik from Gorzów. Saw him in the UK briefly last year. I think it's for 1 match for Birmingham. 1 match in the Elite League with Birmingham before. Unfortunately, they folded. Back in business now, by the way. But Smarslik with a win. Milik in second place. Third was Belousov. And that means now that Poland retake the lead. They're on 11 points, 2 clear of Sweden. But remember, in 1 race coming up in the next 3, they're going to be with no rider because of Jarek Hampel. Heat number 8 indeed.
Heat 8 it is. We see it again. Initially, Smarslik, what a start from the outside. It's a long way from there, and he slams the door shut. Andreas Jonsson, he will be smarting about this, there's no doubt about that. Smarslik, supreme, brilliant start, parked right up against the fence, bike dug in, he got the better of the opposition and he fired himself to the front and he cleared off. Szyslak will be chuffed to bits to see that. That was a special ride. Andreas Jonsson then caught in traffic, Belousov the Russian getting up the inside of the Grand Prix star. And Jonsson pulling tear-offs, completely covered in shale, back in 4th place. And as hard as he tries, there's no way the Russian is going to allow him through into 3rd place. So the Poles retake the lead. And as I say, a very frustrating race for the GP rider, Andreas Jonsson. But Bartosz Smarslik, all credit to him. That was a special start from gate 4.
What a dream debut it is. Yeah, loads of water going down. It has been a baking hot day today.
Yeah, we did it there, though.
Yeah, and I think that's the point that Jonsson was making. Now, Maciejewski for Poland going off the inside gate in red. Edward Kruczmar, gate 2 in white for the Czech Republic. Rinok Gafurov for Russia off 3, and Antonio Limbach for Sweden going off 4 in the blue helmet colour. So Poland have a 2-point cushion, but remember, in heat number 8, they will not have a rider because Jarek Hampel is ruled out, and Kelvin, there is no reserve to call on. Is that something that's worth looking at?
I think so. I think it's, you know, you want to see 4 riders in every race and a reserve. You've got a rider standing in the pits as a reserve. He's practiced. It seems a shame you can't take his place.
Here we go then, can Janowski get there? He's hit that first turn. Watch out for Gafurov, the Russian around the outside. Lindback now coming through into 3rd for Sweden. This would be another fantastic result for Poland. If Janowski can hold the lead and Lindback stays 3rd, they would open up another 2-point cushion, and that would be a fantastic effort from Poland. Janowski with the lead. 2nd in yellow is Rinok Gafurov. 3rd in blue is Antonio Lindback, but quite clearly getting filled in with the damp shale now.
Well, it's caught the Swedes out, and you've got to say how well have the Polish riders responded to the loss of Jarek Hampel. They've come out in the next 2 races and have been absolutely sparkling. Fantastic performances from Janowski and Smarslik. Antonio Lindback working really hard, trying to get at the better of Gafurov in second place. He's still stuck in third. He now chops to the inside. Has to pull a locker to avoid the rider and kills his momentum, but Maciej Janowski, he's class out in front.
Looks like Poland are going to double their lead to 4 points. If it stays like this, Janowski's won the race and the Russian Gafurov has just held off Antonio Lindback. And the Polish contingent here in this stadium absolutely delighted because they're up against it. It's a 3-man team, remember now, but they have a 4-point cushion. Now, after 6 heats of this meeting, they're on to 14 points. 2 heats ago, they were a point behind Sweden. Well, they've pulled off 2 straight wins. Sweden have managed only 1 point from those 2 heats, and the meeting has turned on its head.
Staggering.
Janowski, Gafurov, Lindback and Krčmar, the finishing order. Confirmation of how it looks now after 6 heats here in Gniezno. 4-point cushion for Poland over Sweden. Czech Republic are on 8 and Russia are on 3. When you are 6 points behind the leading nation, you can go for the joker to count for double points and or a tactical substitution. So 2 of the nations are in joker territory already.
Great start from the inside from Maciej Janowski, supreme stuff from him. Got to give him an awful lot of credit there. Marek Cieślak riding every moment of the race with his riders, and how well they have responded to the loss of Jarek Hampel. They've subsequently won the next 2 heats. Gafurov's there, Krčmar's there. Lindback missed the start completely from gate 4. Smarslik made a fabulous start from gate 4 in the previous race. And all credit to Maciej Janowski. He has been in fantastic form, rode brilliantly in the Czech Grand Prix, of course, recently, and he got on the rostrum. But Antonio Lindback, as hard as he tried, he just could not make his way through into second place. But Maciej Janowski in the last sort of, I don't know, year or so has really come of age. Very calm, collected man. Has been tutored by the world champion Greg Hancock, of course, and he's really making massive strides.
Very polite young man as well, Maciej Janowski.
Yeah.
Pleasure to know him. Heat number 7 coming up. And what a lineup this is. Pawlicki, Sundström, Kusz, Kudryashov. It's Kudryashov, the Russian, off the inside gate. Kusz goes off 2 for the Czech Republic. Sundström off 3 for Sweden. And Pawlicki going off the outside for Poland. Outside gate. Pressure on him, because in the next one they will not have a rider in that lineup.
They're 4 points up, and they're doing remarkably well when you consider the last 2 heats they've won, and the Swedes have actually slipped up. I think they've allowed the conditions just to get to themselves a little bit. Sundström won last time out. He needs to now bounce back for the Swedes here.
Yep, here we go with heat number 7 then. 10 tries. Oh, what a gate from Pawlicki into that first turn. But super start from Maciej Kusz as well. Here comes Szymon Pawlicki around the outside. And the Swede Linus Sundström is in 3rd place right now. He's going to put serious pressure on Maciej Kusz, you can be sure of that. Kudryashov is at the back. Here comes Sundström again in 3rd. Battling hard with Maciej Kusz to try and come around the outside. Now he's going to try the switch up the inside. Lovely move.
Classy move there from Sundström. Worked it out. Tried the outside line, then just tucked back to the inside, squared the corner off, and as Swedish you like, got himself into 2nd place. But once again, the Polish team are responding in fine style. Pawlicki away from the outside, jet propelled and has cleared off out in front. Sundström having to work overtime, and I'll tell you what, the Poles are going to make the Swedes work really hard. They are showing terrific character.
Well, they're going to go into heat number 8 with a 5-point advantage over the Swedes, which means that at the second set of 4 heats, they are guaranteed at least a 2-point lead in the meeting. They're going to have to keep that going. They cannot do any more than they've done. They have won 3 races on the trot, but they know in heat number 8, Jarek Hampel, who has what they believe to be a broken leg, unfortunately, from that crash in his opening ride. They will have no representative in heat number 8, and if Sweden win it in the shape of Peter Young, that will claw back 3 points, and Poland will have a 2-point lead after the second set of 4 heats.
Wow.
Great effort.
It is a great effort.
They're going to have to keep it going. High intensity, concentration. Pawlicki, the race winner. Linus Sundström was 2nd. 3rd was Maciej Kusz. Kudryashov at the back on that occasion. So, Poland have 17. 12 to the Swedes and 9 to the Czech Republic.
Well, Pavlicki there was saying his bike wasn't fast enough in his first ride. And
Really?
He was saying, yeah, he did, yeah. And he said he didn't have enough speed. And tell you what, he had plenty of speed this time. So whatever they did, it worked a treat, because he comes away from the outside and he gets to that first corner, comes under pressure initially in the first corner, but he then rips down the back straight. Mate Kush riding strongly here. Lina Sundström makes a poor start from gate 3. He then rides nicely. Got to say, Sundström is a class move here, just working it out, and Kush is a sitting duck there with Sundström just tucking back to the inside of him. Just squares the bike, and the bike's driving nicely off the turn 2. Gets himself in the second place. But Pavlicki, I tell you what, that was a really good performance. And after losing their top man, they've shown fabulous spirit. Come out with 3 wins. Sensational.
Tomasz Suchanek will go for double points here as the joker for the Czech Republic. I'll tell you what as well, you know, in heat number 7, if Sundström hadn't have passed Kush, Sweden could have used a joker here, unopposed by a Polish rider.
Well, exactly, and possibly they may reflect on that, where they could have actually moved that to their advantage if he'd ridden in 3rd place. But clearly Sundström wanted the 2nd place. And
well, the 5-point gap means that they can't use the joker.
Exactly, they can't here. Artem Laguta coming out here on his spare bike, because the first one probably had some sort of engine failure when he dropped the clutch the first time, so he's looking for his first points.
So going off the inside then, it's a substitute as well. It's Václav Milik, tactical substitute, and the joker for the Czech Republic, so they're doing 2 in 1. Gate 2 is Artem Laguta, there's no Jarek Hampel, and Peter Young going off the outside. So Václav Milik replaces Tomasz Suchanek as a tactical substitution, and they're using him for double points under the joker rule as well, for the Czech Republic to try and just claw their way back here. This is heat number 8, 8 tries. Going into that first turn, it's a superstar for the man in white, Václav Milik. That would give them 6 points, and coming through is Peter Young for Sweden. Super ride from him, and it's all getting bunched up now as well. Václav Milik holding 2nd place. Oh, dear. Loses control of the bike, manages to hang on, and still the lead now. Peter Young with Václav Milik 2nd, and Artem Laguta is 3rd.
Well, how on earth did Peter Young get away with that? Václav Milik coming in 1,000,000 miles an hour, coming into turn 3, has gone far too wide. He's going to pass Laguta again up the inside. Milik giving it everything in 2nd place. Laguta there looking like he will definitely pick up a point, but Peter Young, it's exactly what the Swedes need to do here. They've been disappointing in the previous 3 races, but Young, who knows this place like the back of his hand because he rode here for 3 seasons, he's out in front looking like he's going to pick up a very useful 3 points.
Yep, very much so. They'll close the gap on Poland to 2 points. But we remind you that if Sundström hadn't have finished 2nd and had finished 3rd in the previous race, this could have been double points for Peter Young. That would have given them 6, and it would have levelled the meeting. But there you go. It's all about tactics, and hindsight, as they say, is a wonderful thing. A good ride from Peter Young in the end after losing control momentarily.
Do you know, Nigel, you could be a team manager, mate.
I don't think so. I can't even fill a programme in half the time.
Put your hat in the ring.
Yeah. So 3 points for him. Czech Republic 4, and 1 for Russia. So this confirmation of the result. Peter Young 3 points, Václav Milik gets 4 for the Czech Republic, Artem Laguta was 3rd, and overall this is what it means now. Poland 17, Sweden 15, and the Czech Republic have clawed it back onto 13, but they have used their joker, and Russia have 4.
Yeah, good ride there from Peter Young. They needed that. They've been hit by a fire hose in the previous races because they really have let it slip in some ways. He still doesn't make a very good start, but he makes a very good move in the first corner. Gets the better of Václav Milik, who's riding for double points, of course. And very good point you make there, Nigel, about the fact that if they had allowed Sundström to finish 3rd in the previous race, they will be now level pegging. Still plenty of racing to go, and they're only 2 points behind, but an interesting point nonetheless. Peter Young getting out of shape there, too much grip. How on earth he hung on there? He did remarkably well to stay out in front. Václav Milik running too wide and giving himself too much to do, really, in the end. But Peter Young and the Swedes will be feeling a little bit better now.
Well, a Swedish team meeting here. They are discussing ways forward. They know that in 3 more heats, Poland will not have a representative unless they fall 6 behind, and they can use a tactical substitute to replace Jarek Campbell, who has a broken leg. Peter Young, using his experience of this track here in Gniezno, he rode here for 3 years, talking to his colleagues.
Yeah, and I can understand why, because in the last 3 races, he was the last 4 heats rather, he was easily the better of the team. I do believe that Andreas Johnson and Antonio Lindback got caught out by the greasy conditions after the watering.
Good crowd here in Gniezno.
Good turnout, really good turnout. Beautiful evening, just cooling off now, ideal temperature.
Be interesting to see how much water they put down now, Kelvin.
Well, I think that Phil Morris will have been told in no uncertain terms, less is more this time, please.
Yeah, it certainly did catch the Swedes out there, but what a set of 4 races for Poland there. 9 points out of a possible 12. When it goes like that, you don't miss a rider, but they've got to keep it going.
Well, there's no
the
room
next
for
3
error,
sets
is
of
there,
4.
at all? They can't avoid any silly slip-ups at all. And so there's massive pressure on the 3 of them, Pawlicki, Janowski and Smarslik. And I've got to say, in that second round of heats, they did remarkably well.
Well, it's time during the grading break to get some reaction now. Down in the pits, our man is Steve Brandon.
Morgan Anderson, we've just seen you having a team meeting with the riders. What was said? What was being discussed?
We need to speak what kind of lines we use after the grading, you know. Now when we come out in heat number 5, it was a little bit over water and we have a 0 there, so we are really, really clever where we ride on the track, yeah.
Peter Lung looked to be leading the discussion at one point. He's ridden here in the past. Does that help the team when you've got guys that got a lot of knowledge of this track?
Yeah, that's for sure, you know, and the same with Antonio, he's been here as well, so they try to give the other riders what they can do to make them quicker, yeah.
I know that it's very tough luck for Poland next door with losing a rider, but for you, you've really just got to keep pulling the points in.
Yeah, of course, it's a big blow for the Polish team, you know. I mean, that's the worst thing can happen in a format like this, so I hope Jarek is okay, but of course we need to go for it now. We have a big chance to go straight to the final.
All right, thanks, Morgan.
Yes.
Yeah, it is a big chance, and the riders coming out for heat number 9 now. The World Cup format, it goes in sets of 4 heats, and Poland got 9 points out of a possible 12 out of that last set of 4. They need to keep that going. They've got Smarslik here in heat 9, the unbeaten youngster.
Yeah.
What a story it would be if he went through the card on World Cup debut with a maximum.
Well, it would be wonderful, wouldn't it? The stuff that dreams are made of. I've got to say that Peter Young's out here, and he was pretty impressive last time, so some good competition for Smarslik coming up here in E9. Kudryashov also has shown glimpses of speed. Edward Kretschmar is another rider that can put himself about, but fundamentally it looks like it's going to be a 2-way shootout between Poland and Sweden. So, yeah, pressure on again. It will be relentless for the Poles. They just got to keep their heads down, keep winning races. It's simple as that.
In number 9 coming up then here. Really getting down to a vital phase of the meeting. The last 4 heats, by the way, are blank in the programme. They're nominated by team managers. It'll be interesting to see which way they go there. But heat number 9 is coming up. Here we go with heat number 9 then for the Swedes off the inside. Peter Young, Bartosz Smarslik unbeaten so far off 2. Kretschmar off 3 for the Czech Republic. Belousov is the substitute for Russia going off the outside. So a tactical substitute for the Russians off the outside gate. Heat number 9 on. It's a super start. That time for Peter Young. And Smarslik is struggling here, charging through 3 riders wheel to wheel. What a move from Belousov. That is why he's been brought in as a tactical substitute. Second place in blue is Peter Young. Smarslik charging hard, but he's still at the back. This is disaster for the Poles.
Indeed it is. Having ridden so well in his previous ride, he's now been squeezed out. But Belousov, where did he get that from? Fantastic move, brave move as well. 3 abreast down the back straight. Fabulous ride there from the youngster from Russia. Looking good out in front. Peter Young initially made the start. He's been relegated to second place. Smarslik now finally gets himself into third place, into a point-scoring position. But By golly, that was a move from Belousov. All credit to him.
This is why Andrei Savin brought him in, the team manager for Russia, Andrei Savin, and what a move it was for this man. It is Vitaly Belousov riding beautifully. Nice style as well, and he's just pulled off a fantastic win in heat number 9. Wasn't the joker, it was a standard tactical substitution, but it's a race win for Russia. He's almost doubled their score. They only got 4 in 8 races, he's got 3 there to make it 7 now for Russia.
Well, he's had an exciting night. He got slammed against the fence. I thought it was going to happen again. Clearly, he had no memory of when he slammed into that fence as he went down the back straight on the opening lap, and there was 3 abreast, but he just kept the throttle wide open and fired himself to the front in fine style and then cleared off out in front. But Smarslik and the Poles, they can ill afford to drop points like that.
Well, look how tight it is now. 18 to Poland, 17 to Sweden. Czech Republic have 13. They've used their joker. Russia have 7. I bet they'd have wished they'd have nominated Belousov for the joker there. But anyway, it was a good move. Let's give the team manager credit, Andrei Savin, for replacing Kudryashov with Belousov there, and a fantastic ride. It got very tight at one stage as well.
I'll say, I'm looking forward to this. You're going to have to close my eyes in a minute because there's 3 of them here.
Oh my goodness.
Belousov just literally aims the bike and fires himself down the outside. Bearing in mind, earlier on this evening, he got absolutely hammered down that back straight by Sundström and came off and caused the problem with Hampel. He's out in front, and Smarslik finally gets himself into 3rd place, and the Poles will be disappointed because they have very little room to manoeuvre here. They've got no margin of error in reality if they want to win here this evening, and the Swedes have now, having had a bit of a slip-up in the previous round of heats, they've closed right in on the Poles.
Be number 10 coming up then here. And Janowski, they're going to need all his powerhouse form here, the Poles, off gate number 4. Sundström is the man in blue, off gate number 2. Don't rule out Milik here, very fast rider, we know that. And Artem Laguta as well. World-class talent. Good lineup this one, heat number 10. Going off the inside, Artem Laguta for Russia. Gate number 2 is Linus Sundström for Sweden. Gate 3 in white, Václav Milik for the Czech Republic. And Maciej Janowski going off the outside in the red helmet colour. So they're going to need all Janowski's brilliance, the Poles here in heat number 10.
They are, and it's the midway point of the meeting, of course, and Janowski, who was got to point in his first race, bounced back with a nice win second time out, but he has been in fantastic form. He had an injury that just kept him low for a little bit, a knee injury, but he's back now and looks like he's fully fit, riding in all the leagues once again and scoring plenty of points. You're right about Laguta, he is class, you know. I've seen him ride really, really well, but has had a difficult start to tonight. The Swedish management team just keeping an eye on their programmes, making sure they're right on top of it. This is an opportunity they won't want to slip up here, you know, Nige.
Yep, heat number 10 it is then. 10 tries, and Janowski sharp away from the gate superbly now, but he drifts wide and he's going to need lots of pace around the outside. Here comes Janowski, the man in yellow. Laguta looked over his shoulder. He was looking for Janowski there. Watch out for Sundström in blue. He is going to take out Janowski. Is he? Janowski holds firm. Now the lead is with Artem Laguta of Russia. Are the Russians on the verge of a second successive race win? Janowski winding it on and really putting pressure on, and there's a battle at the back as well.
Yeah, this is super stuff from Laguta, riding a Stormer out in front, but I don't think it's going to be long because Janowski's coming at it close, going into the first corner, into the 3rd lap. Brilliant stuff from the Russians. How on earth are they finding this? A dreadful start to tonight, but they're bouncing back here, looking like they could pick up back-to-back wins. Janowski not throwing the towel in, still got his head down, coming at Laguta out in front. And Sundström's tailed up. Can Janowski do anything about Laguta?
Well, the lead there is with Artem Laguta, brother of Grigory Laguta, of course. Second place in red is Maciej Janowski. The Swede is clinging on in 3rd. Linus Sundström under pressure from Václav Milik. But Poland have opened up another 1-point gap there, so they're only 2 ahead of Sweden. You'd get the feeling, Kelvin, this is going to be pretty tense as the night goes on. The home nation with all the support of the fans, but this could go down to the wire to decide who wins this meeting and who goes straight through. There was a time, as Kelvin mentioned earlier, where some nations liked the idea of going to the race-off to get extra laps under their belt on the track of the final, but not now, with only one qualifier from the race-off, the meeting winner, It's too much to risk. So nations now desperate to go straight through to the final, which is in Vojens, Denmark, next Saturday night. Laguta, the winner, fantastic ride from him. They've moved on to 10 points now. Second place, Janowski for Poland, and here we see Poland 20, Sweden 18, Czech Republic 13, and Russia now on 10.
Well, I've got a question why he doesn't practice. If he had a practice, he would have had the engine problem in practice. He would have then ridden the spare bike and realised that the spare bike was a lot better than his initial choice, because he's come out on it here and blitzed it. Brilliant ride from Laguta, around the inside. Janowski there on the outside, thought he might just take that chance and generate some more speed. Gets the better of Sundström coming off the first corner, and then he tries really hard in second place, inside and outside, but he just cannot find a way past Artem Laguta, who has eyes in the back of his head here. And all credit to the Russians, they've won the last 2 races, and in the first 4 they didn't score a point between them, so a remarkable turnaround from them. But it's all about this, it is tight, it's going to get tense.
To be fair, Cal, with the first 4, not only didn't they score a point, they suffered 3 exclusions. So you're struggling to score a point when you get excluded, aren't
you? Haven't got a rider in the race. Yes.
Exactly, exactly. Heat number 11 coming up.
Shouldn't laugh.
No. Heat number 11 coming up. Off the inside in blue, Antonio Limbach. And going off gate number 2 in white, Tomasz Suchanek for the Czech Republic. Przemek Pawlicki for the Poles here off gate 3 in red. And Vitaly Belushov, who we saw win his previous ride, is off the outside in yellow. He'll fancy the run from the outside, no doubt.
Yeah, and they're in with a shout of making the race off. You know, they've now put pressure on the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic have used the joker, so the Russians from nowhere are giving themselves a chance of some more action later in the week, with maybe going to the race off in Vojens. Šišlák looking on, pressure on again.
Oh, there you go. Problems at the start. Suchanek right into the tapes.
Just wonder whether Limbach moved a fraction.
May have done.
May have done, because it was Limbach on gate 1. Another delay, we'll see it again. Look at Limbach on the blue helmet colour. Just see if he moves a fraction.
Now, Suchanek's moving straight away.
He does. No, but Limbach causes him to jump. He does move initially, but we watch Limbach. Limbach jumps, and that causes the problem for the Czech Republic rider. And that is, again, a massive opportunity now for the Russians. Yeah, well, no surprise to see the exclusion on.
So Suchanek has touched the tapes. He can't do that.
And that was caused because Limbach just jumped a little bit and it dragged him in. I'll tell you what, the Russians could make the race off now.
Yeah, very much so. That is another subplot to tonight's meeting. Who will make the race off? The team that finishes last tonight, they know their World Cup is over. The 2 minutes is on, and Tomasz Suchanek disqualified. So we'll be back on with the action in a couple of moments' time, but certainly now the battle for top spot is on, and the battle for the race-off as well.
It's a tense night. We've seen riders charging the tapes and really making some desperate moves as well, and just shows you how much this World Cup means to riders. They don't want to let their team down, desperate to go out there and pick up as many points as they possibly can, and with these types of conditions, huge emphasis on trying to make a good start and stamping your authority on the race right from the word go. So, yeah, it's the real stuff out there. It's tough.
Reminder on Monday night at King's Lynn in Norfolk in Great Britain. It's event 2 of this Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup with Great Britain, Australia, USA and Latvia. World champions galore in that meeting. I hope you can join us for that on Monday night.
Super line-up for King's Lynn, always a terrific turnout there, a well-prepared track. And
I'll say Monday night, but for our Australian viewers, that's early Tuesday morning, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah. And they're very loyal, and I'm sure they'll be sat there watching and rearing to go.
Antonio Limbach off the inside in blue, no rider off gate 2. Przemysław Pawlicki goes off gate 3 in red, and off the outside, Vitaly Belusov, winner last time out. A reminder, the Czech Republic have 13 and Russia have 10. That is the bottom of the table right now, and the bottom team goes out of the World Cup tonight. Will it be the Czech Republic? Will it be the Russians? And the Russians still have a joker to play as well, so they have that in hand over the Czech Republic. Here we go, heat number 11. Second time of asking, and Lindback has made a good start for Sweden that time. Now coming around the outside is Przemysław Pawlicki, but he's gone too wide there, and Lindback is able to hold the lead. Pawlicki comes up the inside, what a move! And Lindback returns a compliment. Super speedway here down the home straight. Lindback with the advantage over Pawlicki. Third in yellow is Belousov, but that was superb stuff from all three riders in the early stages of the race.
Yeah, smashing opening lap of speedway there. Pawlicki there just charging up the inside, running in too hard, and then Lindback was able to respond and get back to the inside and back to the front. Pawlicki now chopping to the inside, desperate to try and block the move of Belousov, make sure he secures the 2 points at the very least. Lindback, this is good stuff from him. He struggled last time out in third place. There's a lap to go, and Pawlicki's beginning to charge hard.
Well, if Lindback can hang on, the lead will be won. But here comes Pawlicki, but Lindback's got the speed around the outside. And in Heat 12, the next race, there is no Polish rider. So this is a good result for Sweden. Antonio Lindback down to the line. Couldn't have gone much wider, could he?
He could not. He was really on the air fence there. And Pawlicki round the inside going the shorter way, very nearly got back to the Swedish rider. Lindback putting it right on the ragged line there. And a huge credit to him, he gave it absolutely everything. Of course, just the third time last time out when the track was a little bit greasy, overwatered. But this time, the Swedish rider comes up with a stunning ride. That really was an exciting race, particularly in the early part.
Yeah, good first lap and a half of heat number 11. Just confirm the result for you now. Lindback the winner, Pawlicki second, Belousov was third. And what it means overall now, heat number 12, where there's only 3 riders because Jarek Hampel is ruled out. Poland 22, Sweden 21, Czech Republic 13 and Russia 11. And Sweden have Andreas Jonsson going from gate 2 in heat number 12.
We're seeing it again. Initially, Lindback on the inside with Pawlicki giving it the real big blast around the outside with Belousov there hanging around as well. Chops to the inside as Lindback runs wide into turn 3, but he reads that beautifully and is able to square the corner off. As you come in narrow, effectively, you're going to be carrying a lot of speed, and Pawlicki there does well just to stay on the bike at one point. She's like there just reading that. And then he really has a good go in second place, riding the inside with Antonio Lindback, giving it the real big blast around the outside. Here is a classic example of it. Got to say that Pawlicki very nearly gets back to Lindback. Lindback totally committed to running the big blast around the outside and a charge to the line. There isn't that much in it, but good speedway, good spirit between the riders, really having a good go. But there's plenty of tension out there.
Change coming up in heat number 12. And here we see Artem Laguta, and we are told he's going on the Joker as well. So this is where they play the Joker to try and peg it back with the Czech Republic. Artem Laguta coming in as a tactical substitute for Ridok Gafurov, and they're going to double him up as the Joker rider as well. You're only allowed 1 Joker throughout the meeting if you're 6 points behind the leading nation, which is what Russia are comfortably. And if they can win this race, if Laguta pulls off the win here, that'll put them on to 17 points.
Well, Andrei Savin, the team manager for the Russians, tell you what, he's made his move, and Laguta won last time out.
And he's made a good start. There you go, Laguta around the outside, and here comes Jonsson. No Polish rider here, remember. Andreas Jonsson holds the lead with the man in the blue helmet colour, Artem Laguta then. Oh, and here we go, trouble. Mate Kush causing all sorts of trouble. How on earth did he manage to hold that and avoid the other riders as well? Jonsson from Laguta. If it stays like this, Laguta will get 4 points for the Russian side.
Yeah, I thought for a moment he was going to get wiped out there by Mate Kush. Jonsson round the inside. Laguta's made the choice to go high and wide. 2 distinct racing lines here. Now Jonsson's in no man's land. It's so far out, it's just a little bit too far to go. How long will he be? Still trying it, Nigel, still trying to make that work. But the shortest way looks like it's the fastest way right now.
Yeah, it is when you've got the lead in Jonsson's case. He's looking good here. Laguta trying absolutely everything. But this is going to put Sweden ahead of Poland now. It's a gift, if you like, for Sweden because there's no Jarek Hampel. And going down to the line, Andreas Jonsson holds out. from Artem Laguta. Matej Kush gets a point. That's 4 points for Russia, so they go a point ahead of the Czech Republic.
Yeah, they do.
And that, of course, is relevant to the battle for a place in the race-off on Thursday in Boyens. But a good win for Andreas Jonsson, puts his side ahead now. They're on 24 points, and they've moved 2 clear of Poland. Now, I wonder, with Jarek Hampel next programmed for Heat 16, will they be in a tactical situation there and use a joker? It's an interesting one. Jonsson, Laguta, Kush and Hampel, who didn't ride, of course, the finishing order. And this means now that Sweden go top of the leaderboard.
Well, it's taken them longer than they would have expected because, as I say, the Poles have been down to 3 men since Heat 4. And in the next 4 heats, they didn't perform very well. But Andreas Jonsson, after the embarrassment of not scoring last time, has come up with a super ride here. Out of gate 2, Artem Laguta was very competitive, but Andreas Jonsson rides a smart ride here. 2 distinct racing lines in this heat. But the Swedes have now just got their noses in front, and the Poles once again are under huge pressure.
Some riders getting in a bit of a mess tonight, Kelvin. It's had a bit of everything, the opening 12 heats. We've got 8 to go, but I'm going to keep a close eye on the tactics here, because Sweden are 2 up on Poland, and if Poland goes 6 behind by Heat 16, they could replace Hampel with a tactical substitute and a joker ride.
Wow.
You're not allowed to use a joker in the last 4.
Yeah.
So will Marek Cieślak gamble? Will he gamble and maybe even try and go 6 behind over the next 3 heats, so that at least he has a rider in there and keeps it close going into the last 4 heats?
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. It just depends whether he wants to keep it simple or whether he wants to manipulate it. It is a risk. Janowski has been terrific. Smart Slick dropped points last time. Pavlicki dropped a point. And it will heap a lot of pressure. I think he may well just see how Janowski runs in this next heat before he makes that decision. Smart Slick, I don't relish this situation for the Poles. Far from ideal for them.
Now, here's Steve Brandon in the pits.
Magic, it's a very tough night in the Polish pit at the moment.
Yeah, it's very hard, you know. We lost Jarek, and for sure it'll be hard to go straight to the final.
And for you, 7 points so far, but I can see you're sort of in a strange mood now in the meeting.
Yeah, you know, it's really hard to make a speed because track is very slick and start also. So it's hard to find setup for start and for the track. So yeah, we try our best.
And what is Marek saying to the riders? How is he keeping you in focus?
Yeah, you know, we know what we must do, and we stay focused, and we try give all we can.
You're in the next one, and just got to try and keep winning races.
I try.
All right, thanks for your time.
Yeah, Janowski trying to stay as positive as he possibly can, but the tactics will be interesting. I know you said it depends if he wants to manipulate it, Kel, but bottom line, mate, when you're a rider down and there's no replacement available, you have to work the system as best you can.
I wouldn't blame him in the slightest. We'll see the standings again. 22 points for the Poles. They've done well to keep in with a shout. Swedes have responded very nicely in the last round of heats. Got to say, all credit to the Russians after a desperate start. 15 points to them to put themselves in with a chance of the race-off on Thursday is a smashing effort. And the Czech Republic, I think they've underperformed so far.
Andreas Jonsson, a very important win for you and for the team.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, it's I was struggling in my last race big time, and there's so much water on the track, and nearly made a start, but sort of did a mistake in the first corner. I couldn't do anything, and you know, feels nice to be back now and to win that heat, and I think we're in the lead by 2 points, so that's good. We're just going to keep going, you know.
The track looks to change quite a lot during each bracket of 4 races. Is it hard to keep up with setup?
No, as long as they don't get out too much with the water track and flood the track, then it's okay, you know. And track is pretty nice, and it is a few ruts on it, but you know, if you avoid that, it's pretty nice.
Another team meeting just been had by the Swedish team. What have you been saying to each other?
Win.
No, seriously, I mean, it's a bit more than that.
Tactics, you will see.
Thanks.
Well, maybe those tactics are to ensure that they don't go 6 points above the Polish side.
They want to keep it to 5 points at the very most, don't they? So they don't allow the Poles to use a tactical joker in heat 16, which could put them under added pressure going into the last 4 heats. It'll be interesting to see how it's played out in this round of racing. I do believe that this shows up a weakness in the system. I think it doesn't seem to make any sense to me that we can't have a reserve coming in, and then all this speculation about whether riders will drop points or whether they'll be manipulating the rules goes out the window. You're going to get 4 riders in every race, and it's a fair contest.
Here we go then, heat number 13. Really getting down to crunch time now for this meeting. Who will win it and go straight through to the final, and who will pinch 3rd place for a place in the race-off? It's going to be interesting.
Well, the Russians have done it so well, haven't they? Less than a minute to go. Vitaly Belousov has been a busy man tonight. He's coming out for another ride, and I've got to say, he's done remarkably well so far this evening.
8:13 here then, Vitaly Belousov for Russia off the inside, Peter Young off 2, Matvej Janowski off 3 and Matej Kus off 4. Andreas Jonsson in the interview just a few moments ago. Tactics, you'll see what we mean. Will that mean don't go 6 ahead of the Poles, ahead of heat 16 when they could replace Jarek Hampel? How is it going to play out? It is going to be fascinating. 8 heats to decide who goes to the World Cup final and who goes to the race-off.
Yeah, water down on the track, plenty of grading. Starting going to be at a premium. Janowski pressure on out of gate 3.
Here we go with heat 13, and it's a good ride from Matvej Janowski. Takes the lead here now, and the Swede is at the back as well. That man in blue is Peter Young. He's going to have to challenge hard now. Second in yellow is Vitaly Belousov, who's been busy tonight. Peter Young now trying hard to get the better of Matej Kus, who's come through superbly now for Sweden, and this would level the meeting if it stays like this.
Yeah, and once again, after a track grading with plenty of water on, the Swedes have been caught out here. Janowski was a little bit confused about what sort of bike setup he needed. Well, whatever they've done, it seems to have worked a trick, because he's got out of gate 3 and he looks strong. Tell you what, this young lad, Vitaly Belousov...
That's easy for you to say.
Indeed. I finally got there. He looks good tonight. I tell you what, he's ridden really well, and he's well amongst the points here once again. Peter Young is closing in, though. Can he do anything about second place?
Be a real bonus if Young could get second place for Sweden here. If it stays like, it would mean that it would need to be 2 Swedish wins and 2 last places for Poland if Poland are to replace Jarek Hampel in heat 16. That win for Matvej Janowski can work one of 2 ways. Yes, it's good that he's got the win, but it's highly unlikely now that they will be able to run the joker and replace Hampel in heat 16. So it looks like they're going to have to go with no rider in heat 16 at a crucial stage of the meeting. And vitally as well, it would mean that in the last 5 heats, Poland will be without a rider in 2 of them.
Well, that's quite a moment for them, and it's going to make it very awkward. But Janowski clearly intent on winning the race and won it in fine style. And again, the Russians coming up with a really strong performance. And they're into 3rd place and beginning to put some distance between them and the Czech Republic, which is an outstanding effort when you consider they haven't got their strongest team here. But Maciej Janowski, they're just going for a win here. I think they're just keeping it very simple. And that's a great start. God, he comes hard there across.
Ruthless there, wasn't he?
Exactly. Comes across Peter Young, really tough. Peter Young at this stage is out the back and had to work hard to get 3rd place. You can see how much water's on the track again, and the emphasis on making a start. Tough run to the first corner, and Peter Young is the loser in that score. And Vitaly Belousov is coming through into 2nd place and rides nicely, but yeah, Maciej Janowski drops a couple of points so far this evening, but no mistake there, having a chat with his teammate Bartosz Szmazlik.
I think now, Kelvin, it's quite simple. In the next 2 heats, from a Polish point of view, Smarslik and Pawlicki, they've just got to get out there and win the 2 heats and hope for the best.
I think Marek Cieślak isn't being overcomplicating it at all, is he? He's just seeing how it works out, really. He's just going to see how the cards fall. And as you rightly say, Janowski's done his job. He now needs Smarslik and Pawlicki in 14 and 15 to win the race. And maybe he'll have a bit of good fortune with the Swedes slipping up.
Here we go with heat 14 then. Off the inside, Bartosz Smarslik for Poland in red, Rydyka Fjorov for the Russians off 2, Thomas Suchanek off 3 in white for the Czech Republic, and Linus Sundström for the Swedes off the outside in blue. So the battle for the World Cup final place is between 2 nations right now, and they're level. Poland 25, Sweden 25, Poland off the inside in red here, and going off the outside, Sundström for Sweden. So they're on opposite ends of the starting grid, inside and outside. There's a battle for the race-off as well with 3rd place brewing too. That's a good start from Smarslik. Charging up the inside is Linus Sundström, but Smarslik holds the advantage. Sundström, that's a clever move as he clamps the inside line. This will do Sweden. This will do them nicely. It's Sundström in 2nd place. 3rd in yellow is Rydyka Fjorov for the Russians, and trailing at the back is Thomas Suchanek. Smarslik on his World Cup debut, riding beautifully, but it means they will only have a 1-point lead here. Is that going to be enough?
Well, time will tell, Nigel. Great start from Smarslik. Oh, he's gone. Where's he gone? Oh, he's gone. He's backed up. Massive blow for Smarslik and the Poles. They could not afford that. He made such... Well...
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I am now. I am now. I'm sorry, I don't like it. You know, racing should be about winning races, not dropping races.
So, in blue, Linus Sundström, does he go on and win the race? It looks like he's just going to be untroubled here now, or does he deliberately look to drop points? He's not going to do that. He's going to take the checkered flag. And that is a win for Linus Sundström, and it puts Sweden 3 ahead. Now, if the same happens in heat 15,
you really mean,
and Jonsson wins it, and the Poles don't finish the race or finish last, they can replace Hampel. But, Kelvin, the Swedes will be only too aware of this.
Do you think he really stopped?
I'm not saying that he did. I'm not saying that he did.
I hope not.
But the opportunity is there. I'm not saying that he did.
No, I understand what you're trying to say.
But under the system, it does raise questions.
Yep, it does. And it made a fool of me if he did do that, because I'm thinking, yeah, he's got this one in the bag, and then suddenly he's out of it. I do hope he had an engine failure.
Well, well, well. Drama in the extreme. Sweden 3 up on Poland now. Russia have 19, and the Czech Republic have 15. And the Swedes will be only too aware of what Poland need to do to get a replacement for Hampel in heat 16. They have to be 6 behind Sweden, and heat 16 will be the last opportunity for a joker as well. You cannot use the joker in the last 4 heats.
No, you can't. And here we see Smarslik, who made a fantastic start from the inside. I do think he was just rolling a little bit. Sundström there tucks in behind him. Smarslik lifts momentarily when he takes his feet off the footrest. Don't understand why riders do that, but they seem to enjoy it. Smarslik out in front. Oh, Jane.
Oh, he's packed up. Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, I'm pleased about that, Nigel, because
thank goodness for that.
I really do not like the fact of riders actually racing to come last. It doesn't seem...
On that basis, that is a huge blow for Poland.
It is indeed, and that really will make it very difficult for them to now make the World Cup final without going through the race-off. Time to go, of course, but dropping 3 points when they were set for 3, that will be tough for them now.
Yeah, so drama here then in heat number 15 coming up, and it really is.
I'm not going to labour it too much more, but I do believe that, you know, you're throwing up all sorts of different scenarios going into heat.
I'm only doing that because we've seen it before in the World Cup.
Indeed, and you're right to do so, Nigel, but I think it would all be completely wiped out if you're allowed to use a reserve.
Edward Kruczmar going off the inside here for the Czech Republic. Szymek Pawlicki off gate 2 in red, Artem Laguta gate 3 in yellow, and Andreas Jonsson going off the outside in blue for Sweden here. Huge pressure now on the Poles, with Szymek Pawlicki really needing to win the race. It's not been Poland's night tonight, that's for sure. Jari Campbell with a suspected broken leg in hospital right now. Good start from Pawlicki, but look at Laguta for Russia in the yellow helmet here. Now Pawlicki really working hard, and Jonsson is at the back for Sweden. But they know that Poland will not have a rider in the next heat. That's significant. Jonsson is going to charge hard and try and pass Krčmar into third place. The lead is with Laguta. Second in red is Pawlicki, and third in blue is Andreas Jonsson.
Yeah, what a ride again from Artem Laguta. After his opening ride, where he really didn't go very far at all, he went about a bike length. He has been in stunning form. Pawlicki there working really hard in second place. Andreas Jonsson not doing too much in third, made a poor start. But this man from Russia, Artem Laguta, former Grand Prix rider, of course, is looking good out in front. Pawlicki is now tucked back to the inside, is putting pressure on, with Andreas Jonsson tailed off. But the race should be Laguta's.
Yeah, looking good here now, down that back straight, over his shoulder into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Artem Laguta is going to take the checkered flag, and with second place going to Pawlicki ahead of Jonsson, Sweden hold a 2-point lead going into a race in Heat 16 where Poland will not have a representative, and in 2 of the final 5 heats of this meeting, Poland do not have a rider.
Well, super ride from Artem Laguta. Effectively, Poland are running out of riders in the very near future, which is a great shame, and it's going to make it awfully difficult for them, and I'm sure we're going to probably see them on Thursday in Denmark. But Artem Laguta doing his country proud there. It's a smashing ride out in front.
Yep, very much so. He really has had a storming night, Laguta. And Russia looking good for the race-off now as well. Sweden 29, Poland 27, Russia 22, and the Czech Republic have 15. And with 5 heats to go, Sweden firm favourites to make the World Cup final now, with Jari Campbell ruled out with a broken leg.
Yeah, that's a great shame for the Poles, and we see this again. The tapes are up, and it's a pretty even break, but Artem Laguta out of gate 3. He has a sneaky look to his left, and he's got the better of Pawlicki. Really nice rider. He's a small stature of a man, rides the bike very nicely, conventional style on the bike. Pawlicki far from that. Taller man, hanging off the side of the bike, clouting the fence, probably overriding a little bit there. Swedish team looking on, keeping an eye on what's going on. Jonsson in third place, but no panic stations from the Swedes. But Artem Laguta, got to say, he's had 2 wins and a second in his last 3 heats, so all credit to the man. He's done a great job throwing water over himself as well at the same time.
So, heat number 16 coming up, and no Polish rider here. It really has been a tough night for the Polish side. You have to feel sympathy for them with the crash to Jari Campbell and the subsequent injury, and the fact that they've had to go 4 races so far without him, and a 5th coming up as well. And then drama with the chain snapping of Bartosz Zmarzlik when he was ahead, and no rider off the inside here. Andrzej Kudryashov goes off gate 2 in yellow, Antonio Limbach gate 3 in blue, Vaclav Milik off the outside in white for heat number 16.
Yeah, it's an interesting time of the meeting. Antonio Limbach will want to finish off his programme rides in style. Andrei Savin there will be pleased with his team. Full credit to him. You know, I can't remember seeing a team fail to score with 3 exclusions in the first 4 rides, and now effectively they've bounced back and got every chance of making the race off. Limbach there, the concentration on the tapes now.
Yep, heat number 16 it is then, and Limbach goes into that first turn. He's ridden a lovely line there, the Swede. Now just up the inside, Vaclav Milik, but Antonio Limbach holds the line well here for Sweden in the blue helmet. Second place, Vaclav Milik for the Czech Republic. Third in yellow is Andrzej Kudryashov. Oh, goodness me.
Milik coming at Limbach. Limbach goes wide. Milik there coming up the inside of him. Once again, Limbach very wide. Just got enough speed to keep himself out in front. Now he just begins to ride a more defensive line. Left far too much racing room for the Czech Republic boy in second place. Good race here. Milik there really going for it in second place. And Limbach now beginning to get a bit of breathing space.
And this will put Sweden 5 points up on Poland with 4 heats to go. They've got 1 foot in the World Cup final. It's Antonio Limbach with the lead in the blue helmet colour. Second in white is Vaclav Milik. Third is the Russian rider Kudryashov, a mile behind right now. Well, this is a lovely ride by Antonio Lindback. Got the race under control from start to finish.
Just about.
Oh, just about. Just a little blip along the way.
Just lifted momentarily coming out of turn 4 in the last lap, but he's chuffed to bits with that. Made hard work of it initially with Milik really putting him under pressure, but he has to ride a slightly different line. You can't afford to ride on the fence. You're just going that much too far, and the shorter route around the inside is the fastest route. But the Swedes have now really stamping their authority on it. But I tell you what, that race off on Thursday with the possibility of the Poles in it looks a lot more competitive.
Just a little bit. Lindback, Milik, Kudryashov, and time is running out for the Poles, who are so unlucky tonight. Sweden on their way through to the final, it seems. 4 heats to go, and Poland will only have a rider in 3 of them.
Yeah, good ride from Lindback, and they'll be beginning to just feel a little bit easier about the state of affairs now. Initially, when they Poles went down to 3 riders, of course, the next 3 heats they didn't do so well. Antonio Lindback making a good start out there, gets himself to the first corner, but Václav Milik puts him under a lot of pressure here. Lindback chooses the wrong line early on, running too wide. There just isn't enough grip there right up the fence, and it's so far to go. Milik then is able to really get back in the thick of the action, but Lindback then just finds a little bit of extra speed and wins an important race.
So 4 heats to go then, and do have to feel for the Polish side tonight here in Gniezno, the opening round of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup. We'll get some interviews, no doubt, and the lineup for the final 4 heats.
Interesting to see who they put in for Hampel on Thursday.
Did you take my point there? I wasn't accusing Poland of deliberate tactics. I was just throwing it out there as a suggestion.
No, we've seen it before.
I've seen it in the World Cup.
We have indeed. Denmark did it in Sweden, where they were able to drop points at a vital stage.
America in Prague.
There you are.
Gino Banzeras.
It happens often, and it's because you can manipulate it sometimes, and whether you agree with it or not, it's the way it is right now.
So Sweden looking good here, Kelvin, and Russia looking good for the race-off too.
All credit to them. They've ridden very nicely after a very poor start. Artem Lagusa and Belousov have been superb, and all credit to them. Belousov, I've got to say, has been outstanding. Lagusa, we know, has top quality. What a gorgeous evening it is. That really is special this time of the year. It gets nice and warm during the day, and this time of the evening is just lovely. And for the spectators, still short sleeve order, it's a cracking evening, and they've been, tell you what, they've seen some pretty tasty stuff out there this evening.
So 4 heats to go. We await the lineup for those 4 heats. Team managers making their decisions, but with Sweden with a 5-point cushion, and Poland knowing that they only have a rider in 3 of the remaining 4 heats, it really is a tall order from here. It's going to take something special to turn that around.
It is. It's going to take some engine failures and complete mishaps for the Swedes if anything untoward is going to happen, or a minor miracle. I'm sure the Poles are disappointed seeing their top man getting injured, but they love their speedway in this part of the world. Very passionate. It's a very high-pressured part of the world to ride speedway in, though. But the rewards are pretty significant when you come to ride in this part of the world, particularly in the leagues. But representing your country, they've been hugely successful in the revamped World Cup formula. They've been pretty much, them and the Danish team have really dominated the World Cup. But once again, we're seeing a great turnout, and that's terrific.
Yep, very much so. Good crowd, good entertainment here in Gniezno. We must wish Jarek Hampel all the very best. Not good to see a rider hurt. Here we go then. Team managers all set to make their selections for the final 4 heats.
So Milan Spinka from the Czech Republic, he's the top first man up. He's going to go with, in the heat, 17, Matej Kuš. in the white helmet colour. And he goes with Edward Kuczmar in heat 18 and heat 19. We see Thomas Sushanek. And heat 20 will be Vas Milik.
There you go.
So, Andrei Savin, he'll be pleased with the performance from his team so far. Of course, Gafurov hasn't had such a good night. He'll go in heat 17. Heat 18, we've got Kudryashov going in the yellow helmet colour, of course, alongside Edward Kuczmar. In heat 19, we've got Vitaly Belousov, who's been outstanding. I think he's done himself a lot of good tonight. And Artem Laguta, their top man, he goes in heat 20, and he's ridden nicely.
Now, this will be interesting.
Very interesting indeed. He goes
He's
with
putting Janowski here, right, okay.
So he's gone with Janowski in heat 17. He's front-loading it effectively, by the looks of it. Now he's having a check on the programme. Schmarslik, yeah, he's front-loading it. He's putting his big guns out early, Nige. Red helmet colour for Schmarslik in heat 18, 19, Hampel, who is not here, of course, no rider for the Poles in heat 19, and he's going to go with Pawlicki in heat 20.
Interesting tactics from...
Yeah, we've seen that before, haven't we? We've seen where they put their big guns out in the early races. Morgan Anderson now for the Swedes. Peter Young going out in heat 17. So that's a tough line-up now for Peter Young, obviously, against Janowski. Going with Limbach, heat 18. Sundström in heat 19. And Andreas Johnson will go out in heat 20.
Yep, so Poland know that it is an unlikely chance that they will be in the final now. But you're quite right, Kelvin, the race-off on Thursday is going to be fantastic.
Oh, it is now, because the Poles are in it, and you've got to say that there's a good chance the Russians are going to be there as well. And then the two second and third place teams from Monday night in Kings Lynn. I'll tell you what, that's going to be, and often is, in the past history of the World Cup, it has often been a fabulous night of Speedway. And with the Polish team there, that will definitely give it an added ingredient to the night. Interesting to see who they choose if they fail to make it through tonight. Interesting to see who they pick. They've got plenty to choose from.
Yep, very much so. So the sun sets over Gniezno tonight. 4 heats to decide the winners of this event, who go straight through to the World Cup final, and who goes through to the race-off, with Russia having a 6-point lead over the Czech Republic. So looking good for them.
Yeah, good night for them. You know, they've done well, you know.
After scoring 0 from the first 4 heats with 3 exclusions.
I'm sure it's happened before, but can't remember it. And Artem Laguta has been an absolute superstar for him this evening. Really has bounced back supremely well after the engine failure he had in the opening ride. And all credit to him.
Yeah, the announcer here in the stadium trying to rally the Polish fans as much as he possibly can as we prepare for the final 4 heats.
It's been a pretty good night. I'm sure we could see some good action here in the last few races. It's been a good battle. Got to say that the Poles...
So, 5 points, the gap between Sweden and Poland, with 4 heats to go, and that will be enough, you feel, because Jarek Hampel's programmed ride is heat 19 and he will not be in that race. So really now it is going to need Janowski and Schmarslik in 17 and 18 to win races, and hope as well that the Swedes drop points dramatically. But they're going to have any chance.
They're going to need, an exclusion or an engine failure, aren't they? They're going to need something like that, along that sort of lines, for them to have any chance at all. And as I say, such a shame you can't use a rider, particularly when there's a rider standing in the pits with his equipment there.
That's right, absolutely. Who practiced as well.
Yes, exactly. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense when you've got this situation where you lose a rider and you're really penalised. Not only you're penalised for that race, but all the subsequent ones he misses.
So here we go. Final four heats about to get underway. It's been a dramatic night here in Gniezno. Poland have run right out of luck. Here's the lineup for the final four heats, and the yellow and black in heat number 18, by the way, is Kudryashov, according to my programme. So just to update you there. And
we got heat 17 first. Hopefully we'll get that sorted out. Heat 18, slight mix-up there. Marek Cieślak there, just having a chat with Przemysław Pawlicki, who's ridden pretty well. You know, as I say, Janowski's ridden brilliantly. He's front-loaded it, Cieślak, hasn't he? He's come out with Janowski and Schmalzlich in 17 and 18, desperately trying to put any pressure he possibly can do on the Swedes. And then it's beyond his control. He's going to need to have some good fortune or bad fortune for the Swedes.
Here we go with heat number 17 then. The final four heats about to come. Gafurov for Russia off the inside. Matej Kusz for the Czech Republic. Maciej Janowski for Poland, who's ridden beautifully. And Peter Young goes off the outside gate for Sweden. Sweden almost there. It's been a tough, tough night for Poland. They lost their captain and most experienced rider, Jarek Hampel. And they haven't been able to replace him with a tactical substitute because they haven't gone far enough behind. Just been a frustrating night, but the race off on Thursday looking like it's going to include Poland and Russia, and that is going to be something special on Thursday night in Vojens, Denmark. So, heat number 17, here we go. Marek Cieślak throwing Janowski in this race. Heat 17 it is, and away from the start. Going into that first turn, Janowski hits the front. Lovely ride from him. Now charging up the inside in blue is the Swedish rider Peter Young. As things stand right now, Poland would be 4 points behind Sweden if it stayed like this. And remember, they won't have a rider in heat 19. Janowski looking over his shoulder. Young is second right now. And third in the yellow helmet is Gafurov for Russia. Janowski continuing to look over his shoulder and try to slow down evidently here.
Well, I don't quite know what he's going to achieve here. Whether he's trying to slow the race down to allow the put more pressure on Peter Young for the riders behind him to overtake him. Again,
something's going on.
Well, he's trying to slow the race down to see if the Peter Young can be overtaken by riders behind. Can't believe he's going to want to drop points himself. But the trouble is, he's looking all around him. He's not riding that fast, but he's too fast for the opposition. So it's just not going to work out.
Into turns 3 and 4 we go for the final time. And Janowski is going to win the race. Continuing to look over his shoulder. That is not enough for Poland. That is not enough. It's a strange thing to say when he's won the race, but the fact that the Swede, Peter Young, has finished second behind him puts Poland onto 30, and Sweden are on 34. Almost there. But continuing to look over his shoulder.
I'm sorry, but
trying to slow the race.
I just don't like it. I think it goes against every grain in your body, doesn't it? You're out there, he's 4 laps, he's looking left, right, trying to slow the race down, trying to get Peter Young past, so the Swedes drop more points, giving themselves a slim chance of qualifying through to the final. Personally, I don't...
Last throw of the dice, that was.
It was, but personally, I don't enjoy watching it.
A last throw of the dice. Alas, Peter Young did his job superbly for Sweden. They only need second places, don't they, whenever Poland are racing, and it's a good win for Janowski, but here's the scores. It does mean now that Sweden have a 4-point cushion with 3 heats to go.
Yeah.
And Jarek Hampel will not race in heat 19.
Well, you saw Janowski there, makes a smashing start initially, which we'll watch now. Tapes up, they come charging away, and he's comfortably in front. He's already having a look at Peter Young. And he's comfortably in front. He's looking left, right. He's hardly looking forward. And... he just shows you how much he has in hand here over the opposition. He's riding literally almost like he's riding at half pace. Right, left, right, left again. Where's Peter Young? Can I slow him down sufficiently to enable the Russians and the Czech Republic to try and overtake him? That's the only way I can think that's working, because he's looking around him more than he's actually looking forward, which I don't enjoy watching, as I've said before. But
and that's why I was genuinely pleased when Smarslik, it was proven that his chain had gone.
I hope he has an engine failure.
There was nothing else going on there.
Exactly, because that really would have been very disappointing. But Janowski, he knew what he was trying to achieve, but it was almost impossible.
Well, it gives us something to talk about as commentators.
I'd rather talk about the racing.
Yeah, good comment. Okay, I'll agree with that as well. Heat number 18 coming up. And with Sweden on 34, Poland are on 30. Here, Sweden on the verge of the World Cup final now, and Antonio Limbach is their rider off the inside in blue. Andrei Kudryashov is off gate number 2 in yellow for the Russians. Edward Krčmar for the Czech Republic off 3, and Bartosz Smarslik, the brilliant youngster, suffered that shed chain in his last ride.
Yeah.
He goes off the outside in the red helmet colour. Here we go. Heat number 18 of event 1 of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup, live from Poland, and it's a superstar, and gone down. There is Krčmar in the first turn, hits the airbag as well, and the red lights are on straight away.
Yeah, Smarslik missed the start there, but they all charged in. Krčmar had felt the full force of that. Quite likely to be all 4 back here, I would think. Classic case of first corner bunching. Smarslik lifted there and actually had a big, the door opened up massively. You watch it, he doesn't get away very well at all. Krčmar coming in gate 3, there's just a domino effect. It's just on the outside there and just gets swept away. Kudryashov and Limbach there on the inside of Krčmar, and just with Limbach coming across, just no room there for the youngster from the Czech Republic, and he just runs out of room. So it would be, yeah, we're hearing now it will be all 4 back. No surprise in that.
Yep, all 4 riders back then for the restart of heat number 18. And just one of those situations with Krčmar going down.
Yeah,
well,
Limbach just coming across there, and he's just finding himself in an awkward spot. And with Kudryashov from Russia there on the outside of Limbach, Krčmar found himself literally being just put in a position where he had to bail out. So a few running repairs for him back in the paddock now. He'll be given a little bit of time. Doctor just checking him out. I'm sure he's fine. And yeah, he's given the A-OK. And check the helmet over, make sure he's all okay. But I think he's a rider that we'll see a bit of as well, Nige. I think he's got a future in the sport for sure.
Yeah, and it's been a competitive meeting as well, hasn't it? I know the Hampel issue has overshadowed everything, but
that's a downer, isn't it?
It's a downer, very much so. And again, we have to say we wish Jarek all the very best. But you know, it's been competitive from the point of view that nobody has been cut adrift at the bottom. You know, there's been some World Cup meetings in the past where the bottom place club haven't even been in double figures by now.
Yeah.
So Czech Republic and Russia have had a go for 3rd spot, which has been good to see.
Yeah, well, the Russians have come up with some very valuable wins. They've won 3 heats, at the very least, in actual fact. And they got 4 points from their Joker ride, and they've done remarkably well to get to 24 points. The Czech Republic will be bitterly disappointed with that return. I'm sure Milan Sminka would have wanted to go to the race-off. And when he looked at the ride, at the lineup from Russia with no Saifutinov, no Grigory Laguta, he must have felt confident about that.
Interesting, there's no Josef Franks in the Czech Republic lineup either. We've seen him, it was only a couple of years ago in the Grand Prix in Prague where he won races and...
Track reserve for the Grand Prix, but as was Matej Kush, but doesn't make the lineup this evening, and quite clearly Milan Sminka doesn't fancy him. Just see there, just Krčmar looking for trying to turn back, but unfortunately the 2 riders on the inside of him just coming across, and he just gets the full force of that and he's down. Just having to be a little bit patient. It did open up nicely for Smarslik in actual fact, because they did run wide with Limbach charging in hard, and he missed it and got himself in a little bit of a trouble, but we've seen Krčmar up and about. He won't be long before he's back out on track.
Yep, so Limbach have made a lovely start there for Sweden. Reminder, the Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup moves on to Kings Lynn on Monday night in Norfolk, in Great Britain. It is Great Britain, including the World Championship leader Ty Wolfenden, up against Australia with 2012 World Champion Chris Holder. And debut boy Nick Morris in the Australian side.
Yeah, good that. I like that. He's been fast this year. He's been riding really well. And he'll be, I'm sure, very keen to put on a good show because that could be quite a tussle between Team GB and the Aussies there on Monday night.
And the USA with the reigning world champion Greg Hancock, and Latvia, who on their day with the likes of Bogdanovs and Lebedevs, they're really quick, so, especially around a track like Kings Lynn. Looking forward to that on Monday night. Antonio Limbach off the inside in blue, Andrei Kudryashov gate 2 in yellow, Edward Crunchmar gate 3 in white, and Bartosz Smarslik off the outside in red. If you are new to World Cup Speedway, we hope you've been able to digest the various permutations and the way it works, and we're explaining it as clear as we possibly can for newcomers to Speedway as well, in terms of the 6-point gap for replacements and tactical rides and jokers. Trying to keep it as simple as we can for you. Heat number 18 it is then here. Sweden edging in on a place in the World Cup final. It looked like a nervous, edgy start there, but it's a good one for Lindback. And coming up the inside, here's the man in red, Bartosz Smarslik. What a super ride that was. And second in yellow is Kudryashov. Lindback is third right now. But remember, Poland will not have a rider in the next race. This is a good speedway race developing now.
Yeah, the Russian in second place is having a smashing time. Gone too wide there. That's going to leave the door open for Lindback to get up the inside. But there just for a moment. He looked really strong. Kudryashov in third place now, Lindback in second. Smarslik riding brilliantly. What a first corner from the young Pole. Got up the inside of Lindback and just stormed himself to the front. Won't be enough, unfortunately, but he's going to finish off in style this evening.
Well, the Polish side have done themselves proud. It's not going to be enough, but they couldn't have done much more than Marek Cieślak has asked them to do with a three-man team.
Yeah.
They have ridden brilliantly. And who knows, they could go to Voyens on Thursday and tear up the race off. We'll find out. But that's a super ride from Bartosz Smarslik in red for Poland. Antonio Lindback was second for the Swedes there. And it now means that Poland are on 33 and Sweden are on 36. But Sweden will mathematically confirm their place in the final with a point in the next race.
Yeah, it is, and all credit to the Poles. They have shown fabulous spirit this evening. You know, they haven't thrown the towel in. A massive blow early on when losing their top man, but Smarslik once again showing terrific speed. Got to say, he is a rider for the future, no doubt about it, and a great first corner from the youngster.
Kudryashov, good to watch as well, the Russian there. Means that they move on to 25 and the Czech Republic on 17, so...
Bad night for them.
Yeah, Russia now into the race-off. That's done and dusted now with 2 heats to go. Russia confirmed for the race-off on Thursday. And a super ride from Bartosz Smarslik for Poland. But as I say, with no Polish rider in the next heat, Sweden just need a point.
Yeah, so the Swedes will go through to the final, all being well. Tough first corner there. Lindback made a good start, but what a move that was from Smarslik. Coming from the outside, just lifting a little bit. He then reacts very quickly, realises he's not going to get there and swaps back to the inside and just creeps around that inside front wheel right over the white line and gets the better of Lindback. Kudryashov also coming into the picture as well. He's in second place initially, with Lindback having to work a little harder than he really would have wanted to. Got to say, the Russians have shown good spirit as well, and they're going to have another outing in this World Cup with a tear up at Voyens on Thursday night. It's going to be a good one, don't miss it. But Smarslik out in front, he's had a good night, and all credit to him. Good ride from Lindback as well. Good to see Lindback also riding well. He's had his troubles.
Yep. So we have the penultimate race coming up here, and sadly only 3 riders. Jarek Hampel out, so it's Sundström, Sushinek and Belousov, the lineup here. Here's your lineup then to confirm. No Jarek Hampel off the inside. Linus Sundström, as long as he stays on the bike and does 4 laps, that will be enough for Sweden to go through to the final. Vitaly Belousov goes off gate 3. I enjoyed watching the Russians tonight.
Yeah.
And Sushinek goes off the outside here. Heat number 19 it is. And it's a good start from Sundström for Sweden. Coming around the outside is Sushinek in white for the Czech Republic, looking over his shoulder to try and block the challenge of Belousov. 2 heats to go here, but this is the race where Sweden will mathematically be certain of a place in the World Cup final. But what a ride here from Suchanek in white, just giving us a little bit of entertainment towards the end of the meeting. But here comes Sundström back for more, and now Belousov comes through in second place, Super Speedway.
Well, there isn't very much on this race, but clearly the riders don't know that because they're putting on a terrific display. Suchanek momentarily firing himself to the front. He hasn't had a very good night at all. Sundström now sorting himself out and settles in front. Belousov once again in second place. Track's pretty slick now. A lap to go. Swedes all set now to go straight through to the World Cup final next Saturday night in Boyens. And they'll be pleased with that. They'll be relieved as well because it hasn't been very easy either.
Sundström's ridden really well tonight. 3 wins from 5 rides for Linus Sundström of Sweden. And a good speedway race. Just a 1 to go now. But that is the race and the win, which means that Sweden are mathematically certain of being straight through to next Saturday's World Cup final in Denmark. And congratulations to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Here. It wasn't expected. The Poles came in as red-hot favourites, and I think with 4 men they probably would have gone through. But all credit to Linus Sundström and his partners. We've got to say that they have managed to make their way through to the final. They'll be pleased as punch about that. Still got a feel for the Poles. That's been a hard night for them.
Yeah, Belousov getting second place there with Suchanek third. So, 1 race to go. Sweden 39, Poland 33, Russia 27. Czech Republic, they only have 1 more race of their World Cup campaign before it's all over. We now know that Sweden are straight through to the World Cup final. They will face Denmark and 2 other nations, the winners of Monday at King's Lynn and the winners of the race-off. So Denmark and Sweden, a Scandinavian double next Saturday night in Boyens.
Yeah, absolutely, and the Swedes have done well in Boyens before. They know how to get round there, of course. They are very familiar with the track. Got to say, Sundström rides a super race here, and Belousov coming through into second place. Suchanek momentarily here comes up into the lead. It's not done very much this evening, I've got to say, but just for a second there, he gets himself into the lead, but then he's looking all over the place and then gets relegated to third place very quickly. Peter Young is pleased, the management team are pleased. They can relax now, and they can have a little bit of a holiday for a few days while they can relax and just allow everybody else to race on Thursday and get themselves well and truly prepared for what is a terrific meeting and prospect next Saturday, the World Cup final.
Good stuff from Sweden. Congratulations to them. Through to the World Cup final. That's a super ride from Linus Sundström, who's had a super night. He's done himself proud, yeah.
He's been in good form this year. Not riding in Britain, but he's riding in Poland and Sweden and has been doing a good job. And as you rightly say, Knight, he's had a good night tonight.
Here we go. Final race of the evening. It stuttered and stumbled at the start with crashes and unsatisfactory start. What was it? 5 starts for the first 2 heats.
Yeah.
And now we're up to heat number 20, and I think it's been a thoroughly enjoyable speedway meeting. Hope you've enjoyed it with us wherever you are in the world watching tonight. Vaclav Milik off the inside in white for the Czech Republic. Szemek Pavlitsky off gate 2 in red. Jonsson off 3 for the Swedes. And Laguta off the outside. It's a high-quality lineup to round off the night.
It is indeed. Jonsson there in gate 3, all want to win. Laguta's ridden supremely. We're away.
Yep, good start from Milik in white. We know he's got what it takes to beat the very best. And just creeping up the inside, Pavlitsky. Oh, get out of the way! Pavlitsky comes through, and now AJ Andreas Jonsson having a little nibble at Milik. He's come through on the inside as well, and Laguta is missing out big time in this one at the back. He's got a good view of the action in front of him, mind.
He's got the box seat, hasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly has. Best seat in the house, Artem Laguta.
To right. Super ride from Pavlicki, a hard charging ride from Pavlicki. Milik coming back into the action with Jonsson getting into second place. Really was nip and tuck round the first corner. Jonsson runs a little wide, that opens the door. Milik responds, gets himself up into second place. Good ride from the Czech Republic rider. But Pavlicki wants to finish in style here. He's got a lap to go. Give something for the home crowd to cheer about.
Yep, the lead here is with Szemek Pavlitsky, another Polish rider who's done himself proud tonight. They've all hit double figures, all 3 of them. Without Jarek Ampel, it was always going to be a tall order. It means that they are going to miss out on a place in the final by 4 points. Sweden win the meeting by 4 points. 36 to Poland, 40 to Sweden. with a battling second place for the Czech Republic there. That puts them on to 20. And can you imagine, with no points for Jarek Hampel, Sweden beat Poland by 4. How many would Poland have won with 5 rides for Jarek Hampel?
Well, of course, if they'd gone 6 points up, you could have had a joker scenario. So see it again, Milik on the inside in gate 1. Czech Republic rider. Pavlicki coming out of gate 2. Jonsson going around the outside. But look at this move here from Pavlicki. Good ride from him. Clambering all over each other as they come off the first corner. Milik and Pavlicki here clash. Yeah, that could have been tricky. Fortunately, no footrest going in front wheels, which would have caused problems for riders. Jonsson then gets in on the act and comes charging into second place with Artem Laguta this time out of the points. He was a disappointing last ride for him when he had enjoyed the previous 3 races. He'd had 2 wins in a second, so he'll be disappointed, but they'll be riding on Thursday, so they'll be pleased with their efforts. But the Poles are disappointed, the Swedes are through to the final, but for the neutrals, I'll tell you what, Thursday, that's a bonus for the race-off.
Yeah, it very much is. Looking forward to that Thursday night in Denmark. Job well done by the Swedes. Freddie Lindgren set to come in on the final next Saturday in Boyens, so who's going to miss out?
Well done, guys. Come on,
Let's get some reaction now to tonight's action. Here's our pitch reporter, Steve Brandon.
Renat Gafurov from Russia, 3rd place tonight, but through to the race-off, a great result.
Yeah, 3rd place, we're happy we go to the race-off. We have a start meeting is not good, too much crash, but after a little bit change the bike setup and go front.
Is there any possibility that Emil Sayfutdinov would be fit for Thursday in Voyens?
I don't know, we just speak with team manager Andrzej Savin, and he's make decision.
Okay, well, good spirit from the boys tonight. Well done.
Thank you.
Janovsky's 2nd place on the night. I know that's no consolation with the loss of Jarek Hampel, though.
Yeah, you know, I think now the most important is how Jarek feel and what happened with him. So we not feel sad about a rerun because this will be another practice for us. So we try use this and we try do our best.
But for the 3 of you guys that finished the meeting, to win your last races, you could do no more.
Yeah, you know, we don't have a rider for almost in every 3 hits, so it was hard to do something. You know, we can't lose any hits, so it was really hard. But we try, but we go for rerun.
We have seen a lot of teams win the World Cup, including Poland, by going through the race-off. So sometimes the extra practice is good.
Yeah, you know, I never been in Voyens, so for sure for me this will be good practice. But we try go to the final and then try win. You know, we still I think strong, but now we are with Jarek Hampel and all good, dude.
Nice words, sir. Thank you. We'll see you on Thursday.
Thanks. See you.
Andreas Jonsson, I'm not sure what the tactics were after Heat 12, but you guys got the job done tonight.
Yeah, I'm happy that we won. You know, I just feel really bad for, you know, Poland had such a terrible night, and just want to send my regards to Jarek Hampel. Hope he will be well and be back soon. You know, what can I say? I'm happy that we won, but it was. Yeah, I'm just.
I can see it's a tough night for all you guys, but if we look at the positive that comes out of it, Sweden make their first final since 2012, puts you back right at the top of the sport where you need to be as a country.
Yeah, that's nice. You know, we knew when we came here that it's going to be tough to beat Poland, and obviously, you know, I didn't expect them to have that much bad luck like they had today. You know, and no, I'm happy that we won. You know.
And just one thing that's been noticeable throughout today and this evening. It's great team spirit in the Swedish camp in 2015.
Yeah, we enjoy riding together and have a good time together, and I'll have a good laugh between the races and stuff. So I think it's pretty important, you know, and I kept it well together tonight, and everybody performed, so I'm happy.
And the real luxury of a week off in June.
That's nice too, you know. Good to take the family to Legoland.
Right, congratulations. We'll see you on Saturday. Thanks, AJ.
Thank you.
This is how it finished tonight. Sweden 40, Poland 36, Russia 27, and the Czech Republic last on 20. So this is what it means for the tournament overall now. It means that Sweden are through to the final next Saturday, where they will meet Denmark. Poland and Russia are in the race-off, and we move to event 2 in Great Britain on Monday against USA, Australia and Latvia.
Well, it's been a good night at Speedway. I can understand the way Andreas Johnson feels. He's pleased he's got through, but he probably wouldn't want to do it in those circumstances. You know, these boys have done their country proud. The 3 remaining riders, Marek Zizlak, he's seen it all, of course. He's been around for some time. He's now got to put his thinking cap on. He's got quite a big decision to make about which team he rolls out on Thursday for the race-off, because they'll be desperate to make the World Cup final, of course. But these boys, or at least 3 of them anyway, we'll be seeing next Saturday. I do think that Peter Young will be, my guess will be Peter Young gets dropped and Freddie Lindgren could come in for him. Pavlicki and Janowski, definitely will be seeing him, those 2 on Thursday, and Schmarslik. Maybe Christoph Kasperzak could have a chance of coming in. You know, you got Protasevich, you even got Thomas Golob, of course, who was in the squad originally. There is plenty to choose from in Poland, but the Swedes have done it tonight, albeit that you could see that Andreas Johnson wasn't entirely happy with the way they did it, but bottom line is they're in the final.
Lap of honour for Sweden. And mooted celebrations as far as Sweden are concerned, and they're doing it right, aren't they? They know they've been given a helping hand tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're in front of a Polish crowd, of course, so and a lot of them would have left already. I've got to say that, yeah, exactly, they're not overdoing it, which is, I think, shows some decorum in lots of ways. They're not ramming it down the throats of people, and they've ridden well. You know, Sundström, I've got to say, has ridden very nicely. Lindback has looked pretty sharp this evening.
Kelvin, enjoyed your company. It's had a bit of everything tonight, and we look forward to Monday. Any predictions for Monday at Kings Lynn?
Oh, I think it's very tough. I think Britain have got a good chance there. I think Australia, I think, will be just favourites. But if the World Championship leader, Ty Woofenden, I think he could inspire us to a win.
Well, we'll see you on Monday night, Kelvin. Thanks so much indeed for your company tonight. From Kelvin Tatum and myself, Nigel Pearson, we hope you can join us on Monday, live from Kings Lynn. We wish Jarek Hampel well, and congratulations, Sweden.
Ale stary, z pierwszego mi tak pasował. Z pierwszego, tak puściłem sprzęgło motor od razu. Czwarte, nie? Ale tak nie drugi raz, ale też puściłem tak w krawężnik, nie?